You cannot take anything for granted, guys.
Trapp handles it out front against Note. Jalen Williams flashes for the steal and throws it down with two hands.
This game is going to take 40 minutes of as hard as you've ever played all year long.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
I hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just got to keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
So the good chunk of Arkansas Razorbacks that have been in the Super Bowls over the years, and Andrew Hutchinson, Hogbeat, actually categorized them. 14 straight years a Razorback has found himself on an active roster heading into this game next Sunday. Brandon Allen is the guy this week. Arkansas basketball, you heard that little clip at the top of our open. Are you buying this team? Are you waiting to see what they do on the road in Knoxville, against Kentucky at home, against Auburn at home next Tuesday? When are you going to make a determination about this basketball team? Have you already done that to this point? Later on, we're going to talk with Bruce Stan of Pradco Fishing. We all have been of the belief that something needs to change with injuries in college football, and the Rules Committee, Steve Shaw, formerly of the SEC, is taking a hard look at that. He jokingly said, I'll welcome any and all ideas concerning that rule, because I know it's been really disheartening and frustrating and irritating when you see a guy that clearly gets told by an opposing coaching staff to fake an injury. I know the Lane Kiffin video that's been put up where 5 or 6 minutes of him and assistant coaches telling guys to go down. That ticks you off a little bit. So we'll see if that rule ends up getting changed for the upcoming college football season and what you would want to change here also on a Toyota Tuesday.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun conversation coming up next hour. No Hog basketball tonight, but getting ready for a can't-lose situation with Georgia coming up. So interesting kind of the dynamics this week before you're a week ahead tonight of Auburn in a huge game at Bud Walton with number one and money bags coming to town. I guess he's had a bag in one hand to give players and a bag in the other hand, a bigger bag for himself in the other hand.
Yeah,
for Bruce Pearl.
I don't know what's going to end up happening with this basketball team next Tuesday. Auburn is a dynamite team. They have a lot of different pieces. They have a lot of different weapons. And if Arkansas can somehow mitigate and contain it, you're, again, going to find a lot more about this basketball team. And it's going to be a lot more telling. But I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn came out with a victory. But, again, that's a week away. Like you're saying, you don't want to be Alabama tomorrow night, who gave Georgia their opening SEC win. Georgia was 0-6 at that point, and Alabama came in there and gave Georgia a win when Georgia just couldn't miss, and Alabama just struggled down there in Athens to get things going.
Yeah, so going to be a lot of fun, and then just looking at SEC basketball coming up, going to be another big week. Can Arkansas put themselves in a position to climb back into the top 25? I don't know if this week is going to be able to do it, but this is going to be a week where you need to even that series with Mississippi State. You can't lose to Georgia. I don't know what it's going to take. Probably beating Auburn to get Arkansas back to being a ranked team.
Because even if they beat, we were talking about this before the show, even if they beat Georgia tomorrow night and you beat Mississippi State, neither team is ranked. Georgia's not any good. Mississippi State has beat you once. So as you've talked about, you've already evened up that A&M series because you lost to them early and then you beat them in Bud Walton. The same could be said about the Bulldogs. You've lost them in Starkville already. You want to tie that up because right now I know this is hard to believe because you start 0-3 in the league. You don't expect to be in third place, but Arkansas is tied for third place in the SEC. And this isn't in the SEC West. You got to remember that basketball, it's the overall conference record. You're tied with Tennessee, and you have a better overall record than the Vols do. And again, you'll play Tennessee twice, once in Bud Walton, once in Thompson Bowling Arena. So those should be some fun matchups. They lost narrowly to Texas earlier this past weekend. So I'm excited about this basketball team. But again, I want to dive in later on. If you are buying this team, if you're still waiting and seeing, if you're not buying this team, and not just where they'll go in the NCAA tournament, if they'll make the NCAA tournament, it'd be very difficult to say after 6 straight wins that this team is going to go in the wrong direction. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, I don't know if Brandon Allen's going to be able to have much of an impact on this game. We were joking that he made the wrong decision going with heads, and it ended up being tails on the coin toss against Kansas City, but they managed to win anyway. But it is kind of cool to see so many different Razorbacks over the years, especially, again, 14 straight. Now, not all of them have had just this massive impact on a game, but that's a streak. I don't know where it ranks. It probably doesn't. It pales in comparison to probably Ohio State, Alabama, USC, and some of these other blue blood programs. Yeah. But, I mean, 14 straight years with the guy that's on the roster in the Super Bowl, I think that's pretty cool.
Tells you you're a program that's been putting guys in the league consistently, and then obviously having success. And, you know, when I think about Razorbacks and Super Bowls, I guess maybe the first thing I think about is Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson in that 90s run, but they weren't really players. I guess if I think about players first, maybe Dan Hampton comes to mind with the Chicago Bears in '85. But there's been a lot of players that have gone on to get a ring. We talked to Brett Good. We'll talk to him tomorrow. He's one of those players that with the Packers years ago got his ring. So be cool to see BA come back. We were very close to having Dre Greenlaw on the other side of this equation, former Razorback, and would have been 2 Fayetteville Bulldogs, Purple Dogs, playing against each other. That would be I think a neat angle that probably the national media would have picked up on if you'd have had 2 high school teammates squaring off in a Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm sure that's maybe happened before, but certainly not happened. I wouldn't think that would be a normal concert or circumstance that you would have an angle to cover in the Super Bowl.
And you bring up circumstances that may or may not have happened before. We were talking about that Joe Burrow is trying to be the third Joe Montana, and then Joe Namath to win both a national championship and a Super Bowl. He's also trying to become the first quarterback in the history of the sport to win a Heisman Trophy, national championship, and Super Bowl.
And and the Heisman Trophy, the quarterbacks just to win the national championship and the Super Bowl, Joe Namath and Joe Montana. But isn't it just? I know it's ironic.
3 Joes.
3 Joes. I mean, having 3 Joes name that would be just an interesting deal. So I guess we all need to name our kids Joe moving forward for football reasons.
And you won't have to pay for college, so you should have named Dylan Joe, and then he would have been a star.
Or you start calling him Dylan Joe.
A star-studded quarterback.
Start it today.
I have seen Ohio State fans try and claim Joe Burrow as theirs because that's where he initially started his career, even though he didn't play at all, and he ended up losing out. Because him and Justin Fields, if I remember that timeline correctly, him and Justin were going toe-to-toe for that job. Justin Fields won it, and Joe decided it was better, and as we saw, it was better. But people are also making the joke when LSU played UCF in that one bowl game, Joe Burrow, I think, threw an interception and then just got leveled, and there's this one UCF cornerback or linebacker that's talking trash to him, and people are saying that's when everything changed in football for Joe Burrow, that one moment. But it is pretty cool to see the potential history in the making come next Sunday for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Hey, are you looking for more than just a job? Maybe a place where you can help others and help make a great living while you're at it? Baxter Regional Medical Center can assist you in becoming an EMT or a paramedic. If you have the passion to help others and want the opportunity to work with an involved team and learn from the very best, this is your chance. You can become an EMT in 1 semester or a paramedic in just 3 to 4 semesters and get a complete certification or degree without any student loan debt. So if you're looking for more than just a job, Baxter Regional Medical Center has the right opportunity for you right now. Call 870-508-1883. That's 870-508-1883, or log on to baxterregional.org for more information on all available positions.
When we come back, we're talking about maybe changing the rules if you're the czar of college football, like the injury rule. What could you do to actually create more parity like we're seeing in the National Football League?
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
Here to your virgin.
Check out Arkansas this Saturday at the Majestic. For more information, go to majesticfortsmith.com.
Hey, this is Jeff, and I've been a patient of Marcy McKinney Dentistry for almost 20 years. Marcy and her staff have become like family, and I've recommended them to everyone I know.
I'm Betty, and I've been going to Marcy for 15 years. Marcy and her staff are always responsive to our needs. Biannual checkups, fillings, crowns, partials, and my 10-year-old doesn't fight going to the dentist.
If you're looking for a great dentist, call Marcy McKinney Family Dentistry for an appointment today at 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
For a limited time, Art's Barbecue and Burgers is serving up some great combo platters with all your favorite choices from Art's. Ribs and brisket, catfish and brisket, pulled pork and brisket, plus catfish and ribs. And you can add a hot link, sausage, or 2 tamales to any of the combo platters. Make your combo plate any way you want it to be. And don't forget, every Friday night is all-you-can-eat catfish at Art's. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith. Real smoked barbecue.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Doe's Eat Place, serving award-winning steaks, has now added lobster tail and salmon to the menu. You can also enjoy delicious appetizers along with your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Doe's Eat Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Call 784-9111. That's 784-9111. Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Hey Arkansas fans, this is JD with JD's River Valley Restoration and Detail. We offer full details, paint correction, ceramic coating, and much, much more. There's a reason why we've been voted best the best 5 years in a row. Stop by 5606 Towson for an estimate or give us a call today at 479-629-7486. Again, that's 629-7486. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. JD's River Valley Restoration, where we're making new relationships one vehicle at a time.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Wade with a rebound, feeds Note right wing, and he buried a three.
Did you miss a segment or interview during the show? Find it in the Bud Light Next Morning Rush podcast. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
So you're seeing the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams in the upcoming Super Bowl. And yes, Los Angeles, just a few short years ago under Sean McVay, he guided them to another Super Bowl. But we hadn't seen the Cincinnati Bengals there since, Boomer Esiason, way back in the day. So the reason I bring this up is because you see more parity in the NFL than you do any other sports league, in my opinion, more than you see it in college football, maybe college basketball because of how the tournament format is set up. There's a lot of college baseball teams that are consistently in Omaha. But I feel like, and I know there's been dynasties with Brady and Belichick, and I'm not going to say there hasn't been, Cowboys, as we referenced last segment, but you are seeing more of that. So what could be done if you had to change a rule or two to help that out with college football, what would you do? We'll talk about that coming up.
Hey, our good friends at Burton Pools and Spas are extending their in-ground pool sale, but kind of widening the net on the different kinds of in-ground pools that you could save money on. They want the backyard of your dreams to become a reality this summer. They've got limited spots with construction. They already have a lengthy list of families that want in-ground pools. If you'd like on that list to have your pool in this summer, you need to act now to get to Burton Pools and Spas. Don't think you can go in today and they'll start next month. That's it's a longer process than that to get the very best from Burton Pools and Spas. But in-ground pools start as low as $290 a month. You can get $5,000 off select in-ground pools right now and get that little slice of paradise in your own backyard with a trusted sales and service team from Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith. Swim your way with a great summer. The first 7 families to sign up will receive a free saltwater upgrade. If you've had a pool before and dealt with the chlorine and all the tablets and all that, you know that the saltwater is the way to go. That's a nearly $2,000 value that's yours absolutely free. Burton Pools and Spas, Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com.
So the SEC has really enjoyed the success they've had. Georgia wins the national championship last year. You've had LSU win the national championship. Alabama, we know, has won multiple. Auburn has gotten close. They won it in 2010, got close in 2013. And I know that Alabama has kind of held up the league, but it's been flicked around a little bit. And there's been discussions, you got to expand the playoff. That'll create parity. You and I were looking at the bracket before, and I want to say Louisiana Lafayette was matched up against Alabama in a 12. It just didn't make a lot of sense to do that. So people are always trying to figure out ways like how can you make it better. And people say, well, the transfer portal will make it more even. The NIL will make it more even. And
that's not going to help at all.
And I'm trying to just again make it where you see more. Because if you're Arkansas, you want it to be as even as possible and it's open and as wide and as much parity because you aren't a blue blood program anymore in college football.
So that's about 98% of college football is trying to figure this out, right? Because all you are trying to figure out is how to be Oklahoma, I guess Clemson, even though they had a down year, Ohio State, LSU. I mean, that's really about it right now. I mean, you can't throw Oklahoma in there. You can't really throw LSU in there. I know they just won the title. I mean, but as far as perennial favorites and programs, it seems like I'm missing somebody that should be in there on a regular basis, but it's not Notre Dame. It's not USC. I mean, the reality is if you really, truly want a sport where you see the best play for the championship consistently, changing the rules, changing the system, you're only trying to water it down at that point. The reality is Alabama's run the best program for quite some time now. Georgia may be on their way to climbing to that level after what we saw in them winning the title this year. But really, there's only been one truly consistent player in this, and that's Alabama. And everybody's trying to copy that model, hire coaches from the Saban tree, figure out ways to recruit. Arkansas is kind of doing that. Who's Arkansas trying to mimic in recruiting? Georgia, every step of the way. Hopefully it works. So, and that's directly from the Saban tree through Kirby Smart. So that to me is what I see as the current model is let's mimic and copy and parrot what's going on at the top, because when you boil it down, there's truly only been one program that's consistently done that, and that's Alabama. Everybody else, while they may do it more frequently than the others, Ty, still aren't getting there at the rate that Bama is.
And I'd say this tongue firmly planted in cheek, but the only way to create more parity is when Nick Saban retires. Because I've asked the question, does Arkansas have a chance to win the SEC West as long as Nick Saban is still coaching in Tuscaloosa, Alabama? And some would tell you, no. Just plain Jane.
Well, that's loser talk.
No.
Of course you do.
But is that a realistic parity? So why do you think Arkansas has a chance with Nick
because
Saban
we've seen LSU do it. We've seen Georgia do it this year. We've seen others win the national championship. I mean, talk about winning the division, winning the conference. That's nice, but you don't have to do that to win the national title, as we've seen multiple examples. To play for a national title, you don't have to win the division. You don't have to win the conference. Sometimes you're in a better position if you don't play in Atlanta. be nice, since you hadn't won one since Quinn Grovey was quarterback, to maybe mark that off the list of accomplishments around here. But that's not the absolute only path to a national title. We've seen others do it. The way you do it is through recruiting. In Arkansas, I mean, let's just be honest. Arkansas doesn't have anywhere close to the defensive line you're going to need to win a national championship. You need a player like Jordan Davis. You need a player that's going to absolutely control A and B gap by himself in order to win at that level. And that's the key, is you either got to be dominant up there or so good in the secondary that no one can – I mean, you got to take something away from the offense one way or the other. And the best teams of all have both. And that's, Arkansas, let's just be honest. Arkansas's got to fix this through recruiting, through getting the level of players, those five-star players that can compete with the five-star players that Alabama has. That's what Georgia did this year.
I'm not worried about what Arkansas can establish on the offensive line, but we haven't seen the defensive line that's exactly capable, right, like you're saying, to win a national championship. So that would be the deterrent. If you're going glass half full and I'm going glass half empty, there's nothing really that I can be like, man, Arkansas. And you could say, well, Ty, what about Trey Flowers? What about Darius Philon? What about Jonathan Marshall? And
need 5 more of them.
Yeah, it's not one or two guys on the line
all
of scrimmage.
At once.
It's what Alabama. I don't know if Arkansas is going to be able to do what Clemson did a couple years ago with Cleveland Farrell, Austin Bryant, Christian Wilkins, and Dexter Lawrence, all first-round draft pick equivalents. I think 3 of those guys went the first round, and one of them guys went high second. You're not going to be able to do that, but you also have to be able to cycle in guys that you're not nervous about on 3rd and 5 having a quarterback all day to throw a quarterback. And right now, that's just a struggle. And I don't have a lot of confidence. If I had one position group to say, man, I am not confident in that position group at all, it's the defensive line for this football team next year. I think they're going to let you down again, unfortunately.
And this is not a roster that is littered, and Arkansas is not alone. There's more people in Arkansas's boat than in Bama's boat. It's just not littered with All-Americans. I mean, and the reality is, if you want to play and compete at that level, you got to have All-Americans all across the different position groups on both sides of the ball. And some would argue, yeah, but Tommy, when you're at Alabama, you get the benefit of the doubt about being an All-American and getting those votes and getting that recognition. True, I'll grant you some of that, but you don't get to Alabama without being really good. So, I mean, there is some truth to the kind of players that they put on the field and why it's that good. So, want to get better? Get better players in recruiting. That's how you get there. Hey, World of Wireless can get you installed with a new dish system before this weekend is up. Hey, with the snow and the ice and the bad weather on the way, call WOW now at 877-305-DISH. Be snuggled up in front of the fire watching your favorite movies on all the favorite movie channels. Plus, you get hundreds of music channels as well. And for the next 2 years, your price is guaranteed with a low, low price, less than $90 a month for 3 TVs in the house. What are you paying for all them streaming services now? You cut the cord and saved any money? Probably not. It's probably all more than $90 a month. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for World of Wireless.
When we come back, when are you going to find out what this basketball team up in Fayetteville actually is? I'll tell you next on the Morning Rush.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings. Here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
BetOnline has you covered for all the holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all sports action. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with the promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV to receive your bonus. And it's not just football. BetOnline has pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports.
$883-1722 or check them out at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales when you're ready.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
Williams throws over it to Wade. Wade's going to try a three from the right wing, and he buried it.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Brought to you by Breeden RV Center. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Do you think you know about this basketball team, what they are? 6 straight wins after losing 5 of their last 6. When are you going to truly figure out what this team is as its composite? Is it next Tuesday against Auburn? Is it when you go on the road and take on the Tennessee Volunteers, or you go to Alabama, or you play Kentucky or Auburn at home? When is it? Talk about that coming up.
Cold weather's on the way. We all know that now. I can attest that we all know that based on the line at the grocery store yesterday afternoon. We absolutely know the cold weather is on the way. River City Bistro can get you fixed up with some piping hot soups and some warm sandwiches and kind of get you warmed up later this week. I'm telling you, if I know I'm going to be iced in for a few days, I'd call River City, get 3 or 4, 2 or 3, whatever, bowls of soup to go and have those ready to go. I love some great soup on a cold day. River City Bistro will have that for you. It will warm up by the weekend. You can enjoy brunch at River City. It's always a great way to start a Saturday or a Sunday at 10 a.m. with their great made-to-order breakfast and brunch that they have every Saturday and Sunday morning until 3 o'clock. So even if you're late arrivers or you want to go after church on Sunday, they can take care of you with a great custom breakfast and brunch, and a full menu also available. But, hey, with the cold weather on the way, think about some soup at River City Bistro, one of my favorite spots, one of Ty's favorite spots. And, hey, another thing you could get was a big pan of that shrimp, chicken, Cajun pasta, and warm that up, while you're stuck at home. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Now, apparently, Tommy told us 3 weeks ago that this team would be scary good. They would win 13 conference games, get a 4 or 5 seed, and make a Sweet 16.
Can we verify that text?
I'm just gonna, David. I'm gonna have to. I need to see some verification of that, because I don't remember many people 3 or 4 weeks ago telling Tommy and I that this basketball team was about to explode or they were about to dominate.
We were sounding the alarm that, hey, what's really going on here? And since shoulder surgery, everything's been good.
Apparently that's what was needed to get things turned around. But you know what? They won 6, and the biggest one you've had in this stretch is on the road against LSU, and you clobbered Missouri that week, and then you're like, we'll see what happens in Baton Rouge. And you won the game. And you won it in after being down, 5 or 7 late, and you came clawing back. So this team, at least in that situation, has done that. Now, I'll say this. The competition, and Muss would tell you this if he was speaking truthfully. At coach speak, he's not going to. But he would tell you that what you're really going to find out about this basketball team is the back end of the schedule. We preached it over and over, these final 10 games. Not necessarily Georgia tomorrow night, but Mississippi State, that's a good team. It's not a great team. It's a good team that Ben Howland's bringing in there. They inexplicably got smacked by Texas Tech in the Big 12 SEC Challenge this weekend, which didn't make a lot of sense. So I would think they're going to come in relatively hungry. Who they play, I can't remember who they play tonight or tomorrow, but hopefully, hopefully they win. They'll play South Carolina tonight, Tommy. Hopefully they win that, and then that would help Arkansas at least be like, well, they just beat this team or whatever. And again, I don't think you're going to be ranked heading into Auburn next week, but I'm curious to see what you can do this week against 2 conference opponents that one not so good, one kind of good.
And it's not too early. I don't think we're right at the halfway mark to start thinking about conference seeding and where it's going to place you in Tampa at the SEC tournament.
That's weird saying it. Not.
I know.
Not
I have to slow down not to say Nashville. But right now you're in 3rd place in this league. You would have one of those big 4 buys that you're looking for. It doesn't appear Auburn nor Kentucky will get knocked out of one of their 2 spots. So seemingly you're playing for what I think appears, at least at the halfway mark, one of 2 open spots in that top 4. And there's a lot of teams vying for that. So, these games against Georgia, against Mississippi State, we talked about the tiebreaker aspect with Mississippi State, are so important for that. And, forget about the number by your name. I think you're getting closer to that. Maybe even just a close performance against Auburn will get you back into the to the graces of the AP poll. But that doesn't really matter at this point. You got to get one of those big bites, because I don't think if you are in that top 4, you got anything to sweat that Sunday on Selection Sunday at all.
No, in the SEC, absolutely not.
But I mean, not just making the field, Ty. I'm talking about seeding too, because you're not going to the Elite 8 in all likelihood if you're a 8 or a 9 or a 10 seed. I mean, you need to be you need to be a 3, 4, or 5 seed. So I think that's where you'll be placed if you're if you're one of the top 4 seeds in the league. So just holding serve on that's important.
When would you be willing to say that this basketball team is a second weekend NCAA tournament team? What would have to happen in these remaining 10 games right before the SEC tournament, assuming they don't get bounced in the first game they play, which I don't expect? But what would you have to say to be, you know what, I feel confident enough that this team is going back to the second weekend. Ty's going to have to skip his Scottsdale trip because he's going to be flying all over or driving wherever he's going next.
Drew, man. Go ahead and go.
No, don't
Drew's
do
going.
that. NCAA tournament.
We'll send Zach. That's fine.
I told my buddy, and I was like, look, I booked it when they had lost 5 of 6, and then they won 6 straight. And I said, look, man, if they go
Hear
second
that, Muss?
weekend,
He had no faith in you. None.
Did you?
No faith.
Did anyone?
I wasn't booking trips to Scottsdale.
I guess that's fair.
I've kept my calendar wide open.
Wide open for the NCAA
Other than those
tournament.
2 or 3 fishing trips, it's wide open.
It's wide open, yeah. Beach trips and other stuff.
No beach trips. Just a little fishing trip.
Just fishing trip. But yeah, I think it's.
But Muss, I booked that fishing trip Masters weekend after the Final Four because I know. And here's what I'm just going to hang in New Orleans and then go on down for red fishing because I know we're going to be in New Orleans together.
There you go.
I have faith, Coach. Where my friend Ty is going to Scottsdale to tie one on.
The question again that I asked: when would you be willing to say that this is a second weekend team? Or would you
Auburn. You got to beat Auburn. If you can't beat Auburn at home next week, I think it's hard to declare that. Doesn't mean you won't be, but if you want me to make that declaration sooner rather than later, you got to show me you can beat one of the top teams on your home floor.
Okay.
All right. So I think you would know what your potential is. That doesn't, win or lose doesn't guarantee anything, but you need to know that kind of game is in there, right? And does it even take winning? If you could take Auburn to the wire, would you feel comfortable in saying that? But you've got to show me something against one of the certified teams, right? I mean, one of the teams we know is good. Because it's hard to figure out, well, who's good this week in the SEC? Well, Auburn's been good every week. I think Kentucky's pretty close to that. But who is, Kentucky after beating Kansas, I think they're pretty certified too. But, other LSU's had their ups and downs. Tennessee's had its ups and downs. Arkansas's had its ups and downs. There's a whole lot of teams there with 3 or 4 losses, 2 or 3 losses in the SEC. We're still trying to separate good from bad. I need to see how you play against a team like Auburn or a team like Kentucky. You got to wait till February 26th. And then the other thing that, you just can't really have a deep conversation about is you got to stay healthy. This team's 1 injury away from trouble. We all know that. If something happens to old number 10, so, you don't even want to think about things like that. But there's so much that goes into it. Got to have some good luck. Got to get a good draw. But you got to know it's in there somewhere. Can you play at that level? Well, the only way to know is to play someone at that level. I think a week from tomorrow, we can talk about what happened a week from tonight. That's where I'm at.
2 years ago, they almost beat Auburn. And that team, I don't think, was going to the NCAA tournament. I think you're putting too much in.
Yeah, but we didn't think Auburn was a real Final Four team at that point, did we?
Auburn was a top 6, 7 team that came into
but they're number 1. I think that there's a whole different mindset when you're playing.
Arkansas could get smacked and the next week. Now, I think that will, and that's
no question it's the hardest test of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is not even a conversation. So I'm just saying, if you're going to get to Sweet 16, Elite 8, you're going to have to beat some teams of this caliber.
Mm-hmm. I want to learn more about this team on the road. I want to learn what they more do in Tuscaloosa. This game, and listen, I'm going to be at the game. I'm excited about next Tuesday, but I'm not putting as much impact, I think, as you are. I want to see what this team does in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I want to see what they do in Knoxville, Tennessee coming up. Now, if this game was in Auburn, Alabama.
But what if they get beat 20 next Tuesday night?
Auburn's that good, man. They've lost 1 game all year. 1, and they lost to UConn and over.
We gotta understand that's a possibility when you're playing a team like Auburn.
Yeah, but
And here's the thing. If you can get to a 3 or 4 or 5 seed, you probably can avoid a team on that shelf just based on the way the bracket should fall. 8, 9, 10, somewhere down in there, maybe playing the number 1 seed. That's not, not a good draw.
Yeah.
So that's why playing them close will send, a nice little note onto your resume that the committee will review in about 6 or 8 weeks.
It would be nice to say that you could be the one SEC team that beat Auburn this year to have that notch in your belt.
And they're going to lose to somebody. Might as well be Arkansas.
So?
Auburn? Yeah, I think 18 games, unblemished. That's a lot. I mean, I don't think it's good for a team to go undefeated.
Who are they going to lose to?
Well, the Razorbacks, of course, next Tuesday night. They play Kentucky again. I don't know their schedule.
They don't.
They don't have to go to Rupp. That's a shame.
They play Alabama at home tonight. I could see Alabama causing some ruckus, even though that game is in Auburn's house. Not losing to Florida on the road. They go to Tennessee. That's the only other game I think.
LSU. Tell me about LSU on their schedule.
They don't want to play LSU. They're done.
Already played them.
Yeah, they beat LSU already. Or did they play LSU? Yeah, they played LSU. No, but yeah, that's the only other game on their schedule, I think, going to Knoxville that they have a chance to. But again, it's the SEC. We never know.
Allen reminds us Missouri had them beat.
They did, yeah.
And Missouri's one of the worst in the league.
But Missouri's beating Alabama, and then they almost beat Auburn. So
hey, cue up Houston Nutt. Anybody can beat anybody. I think the league does have so much parity this year. The idea of them going undefeated seems unlikely to me. I mean, is it possible? Of course it's possible, but that just seems unlikely that they would have an undefeated run through league play.
It would be nice to just say that you were if Arkansas was the team that beat them, to say that, oh, we're the only team that beat Auburn this year. I don't know how much
But I don't think it's 14-4 to win the league either. I think it's 16-2, 17-1, something like that with them.
I think if they lose to Arkansas next Tuesday, they'll probably drop one more game. But if they beat Arkansas, I wouldn't be surprised if they go undefeated the rest of the way. Because Thompson Bowling's a tough place to play, but the most hostile environment still in the SEC, regardless of what some people think, is still Bud Walton Arena. Arkansas's not.
Then you want to win one, lose one in Tampa, and get the heck home. You don't even want to win that deal.
Well, I was wondering last year, we'll wrap it up on this before we get to our headlines, because I was of the belief that you could have gotten a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament if you had beaten LSU in the semis and then won the SEC championship, which would have been Alabama, because Nate Oates and them won it last year. Now, I don't know, but I think you would have gotten a 2 seed if you would have won, because I think you won 13 straight games. I think if you would have won the SEC tournament, I think you would have been a 2 seed, and you would have avoided Baylor, which you would have loved to have done last year.
But we put a lot of faith. We presume that, but we do know that the committee has 99% of their work done before we even go into conference championship games. They're just trying to, before they put their final stamp on it, they got to make sure there are no teams that are going to work their way in, and usually you know that by then. But you're right, avoiding Baylor but that doesn't also mean Arkansas wouldn't have faced somebody else in their best day either. So you just never know. I think what happened with Arkansas last year and the way they ended that tournament, the way they started and finished that tournament, considering the circumstances of COVID, was still pretty good regardless of the draw against Baylor. All right, Clay Henry's going to join us in about 17 minutes, so stick around for that. He'll jump in for his normal Tuesday conversation. We're brought to you by Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect. If you're an Arkansas Valley Electric cooperative customer and you live north of Van Buren, places like Cedarville, Uniontown, Natural Dam, high-speed internet is on. Now, they have opened up the new Cedarville zone and lighten up homes with high-speed fiber internet you've never had before. My dad had a place before he passed away in Cedarville that I've spent, lived there for 3 years. We never had good internet. We had satellite internet. It was A, expensive, and B, slow and terrible. Well, now I can't wait to at Dad's farm to have high-speed fiber internet coming to our door this year in a matter of weeks. So if you are looking for internet and you live in Cedarville, Natural Dam, Uniontown, or other places that they've opened up as well, like around Ozark and Clarksville and places like that, go to waveruralconnect.com and sign up now. $49.95 a month for internet. That's where the packages start. They got TV and phone packages as well. You can call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. That's 1-833-492-8372. Or again, sign up online at waveruralconnect.com.
D1 Baseball named Robert Moore a second-team All-American Baseball America, named Robert Moore, Peyton Stovall, and Jackson Wiggins a part of their All-American team. Now, I know Clay's going to want to jump in when it comes to this baseball talk, and a little surprised that Caden Wallace wasn't listed on this list. Greenbrier native, had a great season this past year. Don't be surprised if he ends up on a postseason All-American list based on how he's played here at Arkansas. Now, this whole Tom Brady stuff, Tommy, this has been the big national topic of conversation as of late. Looks like he's going to retire. He just hasn't officially made it announced yet. Here was his conversation on his podcast, Let's Go, on SiriusXM, about how he doesn't have a timeline.
Do you have a timeline?
I don't know. I know when the time's right. So like I've always said, it's, I'm very blessed to play as long as I had, as things have gone on in the later parts of my career, whether that was 5 years ago or, even this year, there's a lot of interest in when I'm going to stop playing. And I understand that. It's not that I don't recognize that. Just when I know, I'll know. And when I don't know, I don't know. And I'm not going to, race to some conclusion about that.
How did Jeff Darlington and Adam Schefter, you think, get that information? Do you think they got it from his dad?
Purposely sent to them to soften this stance. I think the last thing, you got to think about the timing of this. You don't want to announce it necessarily in or around the championship game, so and have the formal announcement. This week is perfect for it because you don't want to do it Super Bowl week necessarily unless your whole goal is to steal all the thunder. And I don't think that's what Tom Brady's style or MO is. So I would expect them to complete this announcement, before the end of the week, and I'm sure it's a matter of gathering together, people like Belichick and people like Gronk and people that have been important to his career and his development, his family, and doing it first class, doing it the right way, a well-written retirement address or speech. So that's what I kind of expect. I don't think what Schefter and Darlington have reported is false. I just don't think that it's been confirmed yet.
Do you think if Tom had a chance to do it differently, he would have stayed in New England and retired a Patriot? Or do you think he's happy that he ventured off down to Tampa?
No, I think he's had fun the last 2 years. I think he was in an environment of success that was hard to walk away from with Belichick, but he'd had enough championships. It was time to go have some fun before this is all over. And he's been a different, more inviting, a warmer, softer, more appealing to the public Tom Brady the last 2 years in Tampa. Wouldn't you say his image has even evolved a little bit these last 2 years?
It's like he just is more social, more out there on media.
I don't think he was having fun. He was winning, and winning is fun, but he wasn't having a lot of personal fun in the Belichick system. And I think he wouldn't trade. He would maybe even trade one of the championships in New England to have done that maybe a little sooner in Tampa, just because I think it isn't the weather. I mean, the weather doesn't hurt in Tampa, but it's the environment, it's the culture, it's all those things, and just the leadership. He needed a breath of fresh air, a change of pace, and he found that. Plus, he got to put the pieces around him like Gronk and others to win a title there, and kind of put a stamp or a validation on, hey, I can do this without the Belichick system. So, no, I think he's had a lot of fun. He wouldn't trade it for nothing.
I want to see what that talk looks like, what Bill Belichick, if there's the retirement ceremony like most of these guys do.
I would be surprised
if Belichick cries.
I don't think he has tear ducts. I don't think he cries.
God didn't give him those.
But I would be also very surprised if he wasn't a part of that or wasn't represented in that, because those two made eeach other. I mean, they needed each other to both be who they are and to be at the level and the level of respect, championships, all the success they've had. They needed each other for that. So I think they both know that.
Staying on the subject of quarterbacks, the big college news coming out with probably the most highly recruited guy in the transfer portal right now, Caleb Williams. According to John McNamara, Rivals, he does stuff up in Wisconsin. Caleb Williams has informed Wisconsin coach Paul Chryst that he's not coming up there to Madison. That was kind of surprising to see them in the running for the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, but looks like that he's going to end up becoming a USC Trojan. Now, we're talking about with Brady retiring, there's not a open hole right now gaping, because I think there's a lot of young quarterbacks in this league like Joe Burrow. Stafford's more the veteran. You've got Patrick Mahomes and whatever. And you do wonder in the packed, highly contested AFC what that looks like. And I know Kansas City Chiefs fans thinks they're going to be back in the Super Bowl next year. We'll have to wait and see. Here was Andy Reid still blaming himself for what happened this past Sunday?
I thought we really stood a good chance. I mean, we started off like gangbusters, even in this game, and we just let it get away from us. So, and I take responsibility for that part, Adam. So, you can always, as a play caller, you go back and you evaluate things, and so you look at, are you putting your guys in the best position possible? I know Spags, EB, Dave Tobe, they all go through that, and you want to make sure that you give your guys the best opportunity.
I don't think Kansas City window is closing, but based on what we just saw Joe Burrow and that defense do, and some of the other guys, the Ravens got beat up this year, and just looking at the AFC, Lamar, Joe Burrow, Herbert, I mean, there are some hoses in this league.
And I heard a conversation earlier today, and then what if Aaron Rodgers jumps over and he's now in the AFC?
I mean,
so and then you're going through the same thought, and then, oh, by the way, there's a chance that Aaron Rodgers becomes an AFC quarterback next year. You got Lamar. You just keep going down the list of young, great talents. And I guess you start with Mahomes, but I mean, Mahomes threw the interception there at the end, just trying out of desperation. But what are you going to do? You're going to change quarterbacks? No, that's the last thing you're going to do. So what else does Kansas City need to do? I mean, they're right there. They're a play away.
Burks, man.
Well, I mean, seemed to me like they're at the end. They better draft some protection for the quarterback, because that wasn't just Kansas City. That was all these games. These games were won this past weekend and won really the last 2 weekends with pressure from the defensive lines. Defense wins championships. I think we saw it bear itself out in the divisional and the conference championship rounds where, Aaron Donald going to the Super Bowl. Some have said he's the best player in the NFL. Perhaps he is. We don't think about that with a defensive lineman. But, I hear a lot of smart people that cover the NFL for a living say that.
Have you ever seen him do his knife workout? You need to go watch that video during the break. It's insane.
So, I mean, I think that's where teams have to look. I mean, you look at the common denominator with all the teams that were kind of left in the last 4 to 8 teams. They were all getting after quarterbacks.
So if that's the blueprint, why hasn't Arkansas figured it out with the defensive line these last 10 or so years?
I don't think I think Sam Pittman absolutely knows that's what needs to be done. They just haven't been able to get the players. I mean, you look at the same thing at the college level. What was Georgia really good at? Who was their best player? The answer is 99, Jordan Davis, right? I mean, you just look at, the blueprint's no different, and that's why the national championship game looked like an NFL game. Low scoring, quarterback under pressure, all of the key is finding 3 or 4 or 5 good defensive linemen you can rotate through. I mean, that's it right there. So, all right, Clay Henry will jump in. I bet he'll have some thoughts on that. That's all coming up. We're brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale, home of the lifetime warranty. Every new RV they sell at Wheels comes with a lifetime warranty, so you have peace of mind. No worries when you leave the lot whether or not you're going to have any kind of service issues. They're always there for you at Wheels RV. Again, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty from Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
When Clay joins us, we'll get his reaction to Deke Adams being hired as Arkansas's defensive line coach. Also, this basketball team, the role they've been on, is it fact or fiction that this team is solidly going to be in the NCAA tournament? Clay joins us next. Stay with us. It's The Morning Rush.
Hello, welcome to Virtual Reality, where absolutely anything is possible. What would you like to do today?
Anything, huh? I think I want to drive the 2022 Toyota Camry. I saw it the other day and it looks super sporty for a sedan.
Sure, here you go.
Wow, V6, 301 horsepower, but it's still such a smooth ride.
Would you like to drive it in the clouds? Again, here, anything is possible.
No, roads are great, thanks. Wow, look at this panoramic moonroof.
I feel like you are not understanding virtual reality. Maybe you would like to ride a dinosaur now, or a unicorn, or a dino unicorn that talks.
Hello, I'm Daryl, the virtual reality dino corn. Take a ride on me.
No thanks, Daryl. I'm good with the Camry.
Oh, okay.
Make the 2022 Toyota Camry an actual reality by visiting your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. See packages and options at toyota.com for feature availability.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Takes great work ethic to make any job last 10 years, especially one in the NFL. Hi, this is Brett Good with Henderson Phillips. I spent 10 years playing in the NFL. Now I bring that same work ethic to Henderson Phillips to provide you and your business with the best employee benefit plans for the best prices. Call or text me at 479-651-2292 and let's talk about getting the most value for your employee benefits. I am Brett Good with Henderson Phillips. Call me today at 479-651-2292.
In stock now and available for sales on these dates at the Golf Nut. TaylorMade Stealth Carbon Face Driver February 4th. Cobra LTD X Woods Hybrids and Irons February 11th. And Callaway Rogue ST February the 18th. Check out the selection of golf bags from Sun Mountain, Ping, TaylorMade, Titleist, and Callaway. The Golf Nut also has a great selection of Scotty Cameron putters. Check Facebook for daily specials. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Attention residents of Cedarville, Natural Dam, and Uniontown. If you're suffering from slow, terrible internet service, Wave Rural Connect is bringing fast internet to you. The Cedarville zone will be opening up February 3rd, and it is time to pre-register at signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372 for fast fiber internet, television, and phone. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week, both on the patio and cozy dining room. River City Bistro, locally owned and open weekdays 11 till 8, Saturdays 10 till 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab in Fort Smith is hiring dietary aides, CNAs, and LPNs all shifts. Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab is a newly remodeled 5-star rehab and long-term facility. Full-time positions qualify for benefits such as medical, dental, 401k, and vacation. Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab wants you to become a Chapel Champ team member today. Please apply at Chapel Ridge Health and Rehab, 4623 Rogers Avenue, or fax resume to 478-1014. That's 478-1014.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
You know the old saying, give weeds an inch and they'll take your yard. Call Tri-Hill to fight off those weeds. We do yard treatments, fertilization at an affordable price, and always our estimates are free. We also do arbor jets for trees and treatment for your shrubs. Call Tri-Hill Turf and Pest Control, servicing the River Valley since 1986. Area code 479-782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest Control.
Growing up, my parents always encouraged me to do what's right, even if it wasn't easy. I'd always hear my mother's voice say, "Do the right thing." That stuck with me. Every day, just do the right thing. That's it. The rest takes care of itself.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe in doing the right thing for our customers and our communities.
Ask Shelter agent Phil Hicks about a free insurance review.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Big winter storm moving into northern Arkansas on Wednesday will increase the chance of 4 to 6 inches of snow. We're looking at a chance of some showers today. Our highs in the upper 50s to low 60s. Wet weather continues tonight. An overnight low will drop down into the mid-30s north and mid-50s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Follow us on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. You're listening to The Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Fort Smith.
This logo, we have to play for 40 minutes tonight to represent this.
Tony with the offensive rebound and a two-hand flush.
You cannot take anything for granted, guys.
Trapp handles it out front against Note. Jalen Williams flashes for the steal and throws it down with two hands.
This game is going to take 40 minutes of as hard as you've ever played all year long.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
I hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just gotta keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
All right, it's hour number 2 of a Toyota Tuesday edition of The Morning Rush. Clay Henry, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, Whole Hog Sports, is going to be joining us coming up shortly. Get his take on Deke Adams being hired as Arkansas's defensive line coach. Also, just what he's seen from this basketball team, defense in these last 6 wins, and we'll get to that in just a sec.
Hey, we're brought to you by the Fence Man, who's looking to add quality people to their quality team of fence builders already. They've got more work than they can handle. I know a lot of people, say that oftentimes as an excuse, but it's a reality with the Fence Man. So they're looking for people with fence building experience, or welding experience. If that fits your skill set, they'd love to talk to you, and you can apply in person. You got a sign-on bonus. They got a lot more for you. At 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. Top pay from one of the top companies. That's the Fence Man. 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man, he ain't afraid of no work.
Clay, Dominique Bowman this past week. Now Deke Adams this weekend as well. And just kind of what your reaction on Arkansas's new defensive line coach.
Yeah, the defensive line coach looks like a solid hire. He's coached great players in the SEC. I know Sam Pittman's coached against him, so he has a pretty good idea of what to expect. It's unfortunate sometimes he got to schools just as they were ending that head coach's tenure, so he didn't really have a chance to recruit. So we'll see what happens. When he's supposed to be a good recruiter. I checked with Butch Davis, who coached with him, and he gives that hire great marks. Also, he's really pleased with what Sam Pittman has done at his alma mater. So that was interesting to hear from Butch. And here's a little interesting tidbit on Dominic Bowman. He played for Shep Campbell at Lambeth, who is Shep is Lewis Campbell's son. He has the same background as Lewis. That Shep coached the same way Lewis did, and technique and those things. So it's and I think when he first got into coaching, and Shep used was his reference, and Dominic used him to get a few jobs. As he kind of moved up the ladder. So talking with Lewis and Shep, they're fired up that that there's a little bit of Arkansas in his background.
I wonder with Deke Adams, I know coached under Steve Spurrier, coached under Kiffin, Jadeveon Clowney is kind of in the mix. Clay, we were discussing it last segment how impactful the defensive lines were for all 4 teams in the AFC and NFC Championship, KC's, Cincy's, San Francisco's, and Los Angeles. Is that the missing piece for this football team this upcoming years, is just kind of what the defensive line is going to look like in 2022?
Well, I think that's the next level. Yeah, that's signing great defensive tackles is the hardest thing to do. Developing that edge rusher, pass rush, and I think they addressed that with the 2 transfers, Luke Jackson and Drew Sanders. Those guys are edge rushers. Now the defensive tackle, I like Isaiah Nichols. I like Taurean Carter. Eric Gregory probably is going to be an inside guy. So they've got some front line guys that I think can play in the SEC. Those guys held their own. But there's not that bell cow. I mean, Ridgeway was that, John Ridgeway. You need those I call them the big uglies. Just like you need that great offensive tackle, you need that great defensive tackle. And those are the players that you see from week to week in the SEC that Arkansas has lacked. And, I mean, it's not just, under Sam Pittman or Chad Morris. It's under, you go all the way back to really the time when Jim Washburn coached the defensive line and the players that he recruited from East Texas. That is the missing part that you have to have to be a dominant force in the SEC. So in 3rd and 1, they double team that inside guy and he doesn't move an inch. And the immovable force, the unblockable dude, and that's and they're hard to find. When you look at the state of Arkansas and how many of those have been produced through time, not very many.
They're unicorns.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not like, they're just hanging on trees everywhere. And let's go to Tulsa, let's go to Memphis. Well, they're hard to find there too.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's only a handful in the country that everybody's after.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
there's not that many Jordan Davises out there. Right, Jordan Davis stands out. I mean, you don't need a lot of recruiting analysis and a room full of coaches to figure out if the guy's any good. I mean, the untrained eye can figure that out. But there's only one or two a year in the country like that.
A 6'5", 320 guy that runs 4.8 is pretty easy to identify.
Yeah. I mean, we could figure
Ty,
that out.
you could be a recruiting analyst and pick the 5-star defensive tackles.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a certified dummy, but you could still figure that out.
Yeah. It doesn't take
I'm joking, Ty.
Partly. But, I mean, those guys say, just like you said, it's easier to find the next wide receiver that can run 4.3 that's 6'4".
There's a lot of those.
There's more of the – exactly. That's my point. I mean, the next running back that has the metrics, but an inside technique that can play nose up at a zero right on the center or can shade over and play anywhere from 3 into 0 and really just dominate A and B gap and be like 99 Jordan Davis, be like Terrence Cody, be like Dominic. I mean, those guys are, maybe one or two a year, maybe 3 that are out there. I mean, they're just very scarce.
Every once in a while, there's a diamond in the rough. Like, for instance, the Selman brothers, they were not highly recruited. I mean, not the first one anyway. And Oklahoma offered the oldest of the Selman. I guess that would have been Leroy. I'm not sure. There's Leroy, Lucius, and Dewey. And once they got one, they got all 3. And then they won a national championship because they had 3 defensive tackles that nobody could block. And if you want to go back and you look at Arkansas in 1964, it was Lloyd Phillips. And you want to go back and look at the great 77 defense, there was Dan Hampton. And those guys you could not block. They played in a rage, sideline to sideline. And when you have one of those, it gets easy and you become a great coach. Yeah. Ask Harold Horton what kind of coach he was with Dan Hampton, Dale White, Jimmy Walker. I mean, it's like, I want to go to practice. I want to go to games because my guy's winning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's winning every battle.
And one of those guys with a few others around him, can win the SEC. That's the kind of players that it takes. Hey, coming up tomorrow at 7:20, Brett Good's going to join us. If you're the HR person or a small business owner and you're looking for someone to give you some advice on employee benefits, Brett can help you with that. Played for 10 years in the NFL. That was his niche, was being a long snapper. Now his niche is helping companies, small and large, with their employee benefits, whether it's retirement plans, group health, group life, dental, vision, all of those things, or individual insurance or commercial insurance as well. 479-651-2292 is his number. You can call him today. Set an appointment. He'd love to talk with you. 651-2292 for Brett Good with Henderson Phillips.
Steve Shaw was talking about rule changes within college football, specifically faking injuries. If you could change anything in college football, what would it be?
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-39.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
BetOnline has you covered for all the holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all sports action. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with the promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV to receive your bonus. And it's not just football. BetOnline has pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports.
In Fort Smith. Southern Tire Mart and Toyo, we keep you rolling.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. You are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at the new location for Bush Tractor at 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Again, that is 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
At Frank Rowe Furniture in February, already marked down low sale prices plus no sales tax. That's right, you heard it right. A sale plus no sales tax. For instance, a recliner regular $6.99, sale price $5.99. With no sales tax, $5.39. That's a savings of $160. Frank Rowe Furniture offers in-store no credit check financing, SNAP, and ASEMA financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
For a limited time, Art's Barbecue and Burgers is serving up some great combo platters with all your favorite choices from Art's. Ribs and brisket, catfish and brisket, pulled pork and brisket, plus catfish and ribs. And you can add a hot link, sausage, or 2 tamales to any of the combo platters. Make your combo plate any way you want it to be. And don't forget, every Friday night is all-you-can-eat catfish at Art's. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith. Real smoked barbecue.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Drives around Morale, hits Note in the corner, three-pointer good.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from tuning.
So we tease going to break. What would you change in college football? And Greg and Mulberry texted something that we're definitely going to hit on. It said a play stop because of an injury. Players should sit out because the rest of the offense or defensive series, not just one play, but they should sit out. And a fake injury is something that Steve Shaw touched on, and we're going to get into here coming up here on the Morning Rush.
All right, real quick, it's Taco Tuesday at Joe's Grill and Cantina, so get by for dollar tacos, chicken or beef today, all day long at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Also, tomorrow night, start at 5, they'll have half-price apps and taps. That rolls in perfectly to the game at 6 o'clock. They'll have it on the TVs for Arkansas and Georgia, so you can have dinner, watch the game, and get half-price apps and taps on Wednesday and every Wednesday, starting at 5 o'clock. Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Bruce Stanton of Pradco Fishing now join us. Bruce, I know you wanted to touch on this as soon as we put in the rundown because it was frustrating for you in both the Purdue and Ole Miss Tennessee games this season that you felt like that was happening. I think Arkansas fans would tell you the same thing when they took on Lane Kiffin and the Rebels. So this is from Steve Shaw. He told The Athletic that faking injuries is at the top of the agenda heading into the next NCAA football's Rules Committee meeting March the 1st. It's an integrity issue. He jokingly said, if you have any ideas to fix it, let him know. So I thought, all right, well, this is something that we all talked about in the season that we wanted change. We didn't know. I thought you had a pretty good solution to that. And I
think Greg copied my solution.
And then I also thought, what would be something else that we'd want to see rule changes in college football? And you're welcome to text in 877-377-6963. Bruce, I'll let you kick this one off first.
Well, I looked it up. Ole Miss, there were 18 stoppages in the Tennessee-Ole Miss game because of fake injuries. 11 happened in the fourth quarter. And, the way Tennessee plays, they average almost 3 plays a minute more than anyone in college football. They play Josh Heupel offense. It's run and gun and get up to the line and snap it, and the whole idea is to wear your bigs out. When I was driving in, Clay was talking about how defensive ends and defensive linemen wreck games. Well, the neutralizer, if you can move the ball and you limit substitutions and you can't run the bigs in and out, and you got them huffing and puffing, that neutralizes your bigs. So the part of unfairness is when you start cramping and then you take a play off, and then you come back in the next play after you sit out one play, and then the Purdue game, I think the same guy faked an injury 4 times in that game, but he miraculously, got the magic soccer spray and got back on the field and kept playing. So 2 things will stop this. If you start calling if you take away timeouts in the fourth quarter when there's an injury, don't limit it to the last minute or 2 minutes like you do in the NFL. Last 2 minutes, start taking away their timeouts. That'll make coaches stop doing that. Or like Greg from Mulberry and a lot of people said, once you fake an injury in the fourth quarter, you can't play the rest of that series. So if you fake it on the first play or the fourth play, you're sitting out. And then, of course, you're going to have to police it. Someone's going to have to be watching number, 77 can't come back in after he faked an injury. But it's legal right now, so, there's nothing you can really say. You can say integrity, but if it's not breaking the rules, it's legal.
So have you guys ever, woken up in the middle of the night and had a Charlie horse in your calf or a cramp somewhere? Is there any way you could play that 30 seconds later, get back into a football game after that?
No.
I mean, I had one happen, Saturday morning, and I had to, get up. I thought someone had stabbed me, first of all, and then I had to stand up work that thing out. And I wasn't going anywhere in the next 3 minutes, much less 30 seconds to get back on a football field. So if you truly have one of these cramps, and they happen more frequently in September than they do in November because of the heat, you're not playing the next down anyway if it's truly that kind of injury. But I'm kind of on the same page with you and what I've said all along. If you're injured and you're truly injured, you're out the rest of the possession or until your team calls timeout or until halftime or the end of regulation. And, if it's now the way around that's going to be, we'll put Johnny Fifth String in and we'll let him fake the injury from spot, but then that makes you weak, in that spot. Coaches will you put a rule in, Clay, and coaches are going to devise a way to get around it.
Yeah, Tommy, you referee high school football. Do you see it there too?
First of all, I hate to get into the category of judging whether the injury's fake or real, but I cannot recall a time where I've seen a player just drop like a sack of potatoes because the coach is telling him.
Well,
I've never seen that happen.
What's amazing to me is you have seen the video of the head coach pointing to a player and they go down. And in that video, there'll be a linesman that's 3 feet from the head coach, and he's looking at the head coach, and he sees it happen. When that happens, that's unsportsmanlike. Yep. That is 15 yards. But
until someone tells them that's the interpretation.
No, but I'm telling you, that's part of what they have to do.
I
agree. When you see it as a referee, you have to have the license in your, in the rule book to say, I can call that. And because it's so blatant now, because there's no penalty. Like you say, there's nothing they can do. I mean, it's kind of like the guy that throws a pitch at somebody's head. Well, you got to, what's intent? It slipped out of his hand, right? And it does slip out.
Well, Ricky Vaughn said it slipped.
Yeah, there's any question that it does slip sometimes. So that is really hard to interpret. And they give you some judgment as a baseball umpire. If you think that's what it is, you give a warning. And then the next time, then you start ejection. But the other thing that I believe that can happen is if they see that, they can put the head coach in the tent for the quarter. He's done. And he will not do it again.
Some fans might like that sometimes.
No, they'll all like that. But, yeah, in your, the opposing team, you definitely would have celebrated, if Kiffin was put in the tent, right?
Yeah.
Tennessee fans would have lost their minds.
You wouldn't have been able to hit him with a battery or something. But
yeah, but he's in the tent. They're going to do something. I've talked to every official is ready for them to give them the weapon that they need, which is to legislate some sort of penalty, some sort of punishment to stop it, because they're embarrassed. They're out there and they know what's going on.
The shame of it is the coaches aren't embarrassed, Bruce. But they're
most of them are. Most of them are.
Lane's not. No, Lane's not.
No,
and here's
he's not.
the deal. It's like the Kenny Pickett deal. It was so obvious and blatant what he was doing. It should have been flagged on the spot when he faked going down. But it's the same deal.
And they changed the rule the next week.
Immediately, but it's unsportsmanlike conduct. It messes with the integrity of the game, and this fake injury issue is even more blatant than that.
So what happens when you're wrong? And it wasn't a fake injury. That's the problem without the rule right now. What happens in
if it happens to Ole Miss, nobody cares.
What happens in the 1 out of 100 where you're wrong, the guy really was hurt?
No. When I'm saying the penalty is when you see the head coach point at the guy and he goes down.
Well, they'll just come up with a new signal.
Yeah. But you might figure that one out too.
Yeah. If you lose your timeout in the fourth quarter, starting with the first one, or if the guy's suspended the rest of the drive, that will take care of itself at some point. Because once people see their star defensive end, coming off the field, and that's a problem. We're not going to be able to stop him on the right side anymore. He can't go back in. That'll happen one time, and they'll quit doing it.
Here's some other texts we've received. Again, if you could change one thing in college football, this kind of stemmed from Steve Shaw talking about the rules adjustment. to faking injuries. Nathan Maryland says updating the targeting call. Now, they've adjusted a little bit where if you get ejected, you don't have to leave the field. I always thought that was a little severe when a kid, most of the time I saw targetings, they weren't trying to kill the other guy. They just helmet or whatever, and then you'd see this kid walking off the field. They'd
contact was
or whatever.
4 inches too high.
Yeah, or whatever. And so they've amended it where you can at least be on the sidelines, be on the field with your teammates. Now, what I've advocated for is there are the targeting penalties and then the ones where Marquell Wade tries to kill the Vanderbilt wide receiver. There's a clear distinction between the two. And I've said for a while now that there should be some separation. Now, if you get two, you're gone. But there's a clear one from the other. So I agree.
The rule's good. The penalty is what needs review. The rule is fine. There's nothing wrong with the rule they have. It's the penalty of the rule that is too severe in my judgment. You're not going to take targeting away. You're not going to open it up where, hey, contact in the head and neck area is now free game or more open. The problem is with replay, high def, 100 camera angles, there's too many plays where the offensive player drops 4 inches, the defensive player was too high 4 inches, and now by the definition of the rule, we have targeting when there was no intent to injure, there was no intent to hit someone in the head, but that's the way it worked out, and by rule, that's what it is. Guys, I think that rule's not going to change. The penalty, though, is what needs adjustment.
Well, it's like you see it, you recognize it when you see it. When you got to slow it down, like you said, with all the angles, and it's almost like you're trying to see it, you don't even need to be messing with it. Let the kid keep playing, give him the 15 yards, and then that's his first and only strike, and next one you're out. But it seems like we spend too much time looking for the right angle to want to eject him. I mean, we know when we see it.
Well, they want the hits in the head out of the game. I mean, the studies are clear, the evidence is clear. Hitting people with forcible contact in the head leads to concussions, which leads to long-term brain injury.
But sometimes, like you said, intent, the offensive player drops a few inches, the defensive player stumbles, and you end up hitting them in the head. Well, you can tell when someone was trying to take someone's head off most of the time.
When they launch, when they creep.
If it's a 17-minute, timeout to look at all the angles, it's probably not the intent.
Right.
Yeah, the one thing that you almost said it, Tommy, when the offensive player lowers his helmet and leads with the crown, they don't call that.
Never. I mean, you ever seen spearing called on the running back?
But he's doing it.
Started back with what Earl Campbell used to just kill people with his helmet in the 70s.
The other probably thing that I would take out is the hands to the face penalty. And I know why they do it, but so many times I see the defensive hand come out, the offensive player puts his hand on his arm, and raises it up, and all at once his hand hits his face, and they call that guy for the penalty. And really the guy that caused it was the offensive player. But they never understand that. And all they see is a hand to the face. Well, how did it get there? And so I would eliminate that penalty.
Craig agrees with you. So on that subject, on the targeting rule, should you add in, because Darren, and you mentioned Earl Campbell, Darren McFadden was notorious for also doing that as well. Point. And that's an Arkansas guy that you think could do no wrong. Should there be a penalty associated with the offensive player? Because a lot of times
there is a penalty already. It's just never enforced.
Never enforced.
Okay. Well, I have never watched a lot of college football. So have you guys? Have you guys ever seen an offensive player get called for targeting in any game whatsoever?
No. I mean, you're not a running back carrying the ball. In
so
that
should there be a level of enforcement where the defensive player already has so many things against him, and the offensive player, as a wide receiver, a running back, not really quarterback, but does that? And you're in kind of a no-win situation.
I think you were headed in the right direction with your first thought on targeting, and that's in basketball there's a flagrant 1 and a flagrant 2. So if you have a flagrant 1 foul, you get that. If it's a flagrant 2, it's an automatic ejection. Somehow you need to define, and I think we know when we see it. You brought up Marquell Wade's play at Vanderbilt back in the Petrino days. You know when these are, and that was obvious intent to injure and harm on that play. With the punt returner standing still. I think you could somehow define these in some similar manner where, all right, targeting flagrant 1, you get 2 of these in the game and then you're out. You fouled out of the game, to use the basketball term, but you get 1 flagrant 2, and if you commit that kind of foul, you're done for the contest. You don't need intentional contact in the head and neck area that's designed to hurt somebody. That's I think we've learned enough that why would we want to go backwards on that? The sport has enough issues at the youth levels right now. Go to a boys club game or a junior high football game. Look at the numbers. There is a widespread amount of fear by parents in this generation about head injuries. We've got to do something to stave this off. Or I think the future of the game does have some issues to deal with, Bruce.
No, I agree. I mean, you've got to take the head injuries out and the flagrant penalties, the ejections is one way to do it.
While keeping the product watchable and entertaining.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's still a violent game. I mean, it's like, why do people watch UFC? They want to see violence. You know, that why we watch boxing when it's heavyweight championship fight. At least back in the day, you wanted to see some slugging and some blood and some violence, and it's part of football. And doing it the right way at the youth level. Of course, we
worry about it in football, but you can't get into a Hooters or a Twin Peaks on a Saturday night when there's an MMA and they're just absolutely killing each other. No one's worried about MMA and concussions, are they? I mean, and that might be one of the most fastest growing, most popular sports, kind of under the radar.
Hey, don't take MMA away. The dentist will be crying.
No one's clamoring for head and neck injuries there at all.
What about part of it. Overtime? That's what Trevor in Batesville.
I hate the new overtime.
He's not a fan. So is Andy in Mountain Home. He's not a fan of the new overtime rules. And I want to make sure I got this right. First overtime, normal. Start at the 25, normal, what we've known all these years. Second one, you have to do the 2-point conversion.
Right.
And then third one, it's just 2-point conversions from there on out, right?
I think Bielema liked that, didn't he?
Yeah, going to
what was it, 21-20 and 7 overtimes?
Yeah.
I
think it was 9 overtimes.
Whatever it was, it's a bunch and still a low-scoring game. I'm not a fan of the new format. I think I like the old one where we line up at the 25. You still got to get first downs. You still got to maneuver, and there's still strategy. Equal amounts of possessions.
7 overtime games. That was some of the most memorable games ever.
Ask anyone in that situation whether fewer plays was on their mind at that point. The adrenaline takes over. The testosterone takes over. I think we've went too far trying to limit injury and limit plays. It's just an extension of a football game. That's all it is. Clay, what do you think?
I'm probably 50-50 on it. Sometimes I think, I like the NFL rule, and then sometimes I don't. I think that probably the NFL rule, how to fix that is to make sure that the other team gets a chance even after a touchdown.
I agree with that.
And because I think that the way the Chiefs-Bengals games turned out was fine because you got to stop and then you scored a touchdown. Mm-hmm. But the previous week, the Chiefs' victory to me is a little tainted because the other team didn't get a chance. Yeah. And that probably could be fixed. But I'm more like the continuation of the game, give timeouts, so you can rest your players if you think they're tired. You got 3 timeouts, so you could use them all in one drive if you thought your defense was worn out.
I agree.
That's to me closer to what it ought to be. And I think everybody enjoys the college format as long as your team wins.
Yeah.
Well, all these organizations spend all their time, effort, money, off seasons on strategy, and to see it come down to a coin flip,
no question,
just chance. It doesn't feel right. And yeah, I mean, if you're a Chiefs fan, you're happy because the Bills never got the ball back. But if you're a Bills fan, you just feel like, man, we did all that and we didn't get a chance. But we didn't get one chance to answer.
But the conversation that doesn't get had when it comes to overtime format and all this is television. The TV executives want to shorten overtime because they need this game to fit in a nice 3.5 hour box, 2 hours in basketball, because they need to get to the next game. And that's why a lot of these overtime rules and the thoughts on it from the top are a little bit different because, hey, we got to get to the next game that's on the schedule.
Playoffs, I think, are different.
I agree.
We're not going to go to the Heidi, in the playoffs. We're not going to flip right to the next game in the playoffs. And if you have one of those classic 2 overtime games, so be it. That's what everybody's going to talk about for the next century.
Think about this, and we'll close on this. How disappointing would have it been if Bryce Young and Alabama and Georgia had gone to overtime, and it was won on a 2-point conversion on the second one. I think a lot of fans would have been ticked off in that. No, it didn't happen. Georgia dominated the second half and ended up winning that football game.
America still would have been happy if Georgia would have won.
Yeah, that is true. But I can't imagine the national championship ending on a 2-point conversion versus 2-point conversion battle. That just is not appealing to me, and I don't think it's appealing to a lot of college football fans either.
Bruce Stanton with Pradco's in here. We got got 3 packages of Yum brand, some plastics here this morning, some worms. Which of these 3 colors was probably least likely to work on Bull Shoals or Norfolk? That's the one I'm going to give Clay.
Okay, you give him the Jell-O shot.
All right.
Yeah. So these are Yum custom colors. We have 20 new colors. They're only available on lurenet.com. That Junebug Red Flake, that's my favorite. I can't wait to get down to Broken Bow and 10 Killer and throw it here in a few months.
This is the Junebug here that I've got.
Junebug with the red flake. Normally Junebug just has a green flake, so this has got both red and green.
This is the Jell-O shot. I'm holding these up to the
Fishermen are funny. We like different colors, glitter. Sometimes we like no glitter. But these are custom colors you can only find on lurenet.com, and the Yum Dinger. It's our best-selling shape and Yum, our biggest brand. And they're all made right here in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Green Clown, is that what that says?
Green Clown.
That one's Ties right there. So those are the Yum worms this morning. And again, lurenet.com is where you can look at everything you guys make and kind of figure out what's working. I know it's going to get cold and probably not a lot of fishing later this week, but hey, spring and that bass fishing's coming up pretty soon.
Bass fishing's coming up pretty soon. You need your Yum Dingers, you need your Flash Mob Juniors, but I always like trout fishing this time of year when it's real cold. I was at the Lower Mountain Fork down in Broken Bow this weekend, and I know you and Clay like going up on the North Fork and catching the rainbows and browns up there. Still a great time to catch brown trout, either with a guide or out on your own with a Rogue or a barbless Rebel track down minnow. Even in an ice storm, the trout will still bite.
Yeah, and I know things are going to open up on the white pretty soon, and Clay doesn't want anyone to know about that, but it's going to be prime time.
Not sure what you're talking about.
Exactly. So Clay's going to have like police tape around the parking lot, closing off the state
Wildcat
park.
Shoals closed for the summer.
Yeah, I think somewhere around Calico is where you ought to go. But hey, there was a 32-inch brown caught last week on the white. That's a massive fish.
Good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. So, well, thanks for the stuff this morning. Look forward to our visit next Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
All right, Bruce Stanton, Pradco Fishing, joins us every week here on the Morning Rush, and some good stuff here, Clay. And I know right now
pumpkin. That's what I'm told to get. Christopher says pumpkin.
Pumpkin what?
The Yum
Yum
color.
Okay.
He wants a Yum pumpkin lizard.
All right. I bet.
Yes.
I bet I know a guy that can make that happen.
We can make it happen.
We make it happen right here. Hey, it's not going to be long till we need to get to Gaston's White River Resort. 870-431-5202 is their number. You talking about fishing on the white, and right now, February's typically a great month to go find those big browns. They got the guides up there to do it, and on the White River this time of the year. I know you did a deal with Bill Dance last year about this time. It was cold, but it produced some great fish.
Yeah, we were up there in December, and we caught a lot of nice browns.
Yeah, so it's a good time of the year to head to Gaston's. Winter rates are in effect right now when you go to Gaston's White River Resort. The restaurant's reopening. So, hey, whether you're planning a great trip for Valentine's weekend or you're thinking ahead to spring break and maybe getting a trip with the kids up, or maybe you've got some other thoughts in mind for an anniversary or a birthday or whatever's on the family calendar, now's the time to call our friends at Gaston's and plan that special week or weekend that's coming up. Winter rates for a little while longer, so when you stay 2 or more nights, you're going to get a 40% discount off of your lodging. And that gives you a little more in the budget, maybe to book one of their great guides. They've got topwater boats, which are the best you can find on the river. The top guides that have been guiding on the White River for decades, and it's guaranteed to be a great time when you go to Gaston's and do what it's known for. That's chase down those trophy browns and rainbows. 870-431-5202. Ask about winter rates at Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunity, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
At Clay Maxey Auto Group, making the relationship has been what we've always been about. Can't control the market, but we can control who we are and how we act every day. And we're just going to be really good at being us. It's always been more than just selling the cars or servicing them. It's a people business. We're here to take care of the customer. To me, it's important that it's about the relationship, not the transaction. Come visit us today at Clay Maxey Auto Group.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
When you want beer, you go to a bar. When you want top-shelf spirits, wines, handcrafted cocktails, and cigars, in an atmosphere benefiting a destination, you go to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Try our new menu items including fish and chips, classic club sandwiches, Caesar and Cobb salads, or stick to your favorites, dine in or carry out. Enjoy our state-of-the-art air filtration system. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith. Doors open at 4 Tuesday through Saturday.
Winter is here, and there's no better time to make sure your tires are road ready. Southern Tire Mart proudly offers America's most trusted brands such as Toyo. Trust us for your last-minute getaways, open road adventures, and memories that outlast the drive. When you can rely on your tires, you are free to enjoy the ride. Come visit us at 9700 Highway 271 South at I-540 in Fort Smith. Southern Tire Mart and Toyo, we keep you rolling.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
We will make your life easier. Jody'sAuto.com will pick up your vehicle at your office or home or wherever. Take it to one of our 3 locations in Van Buren and Fort Smith. Perform any service your vehicle will ever need and deliver your vehicle back to you. Hi, Kim Bircher with Jody'sAuto.com. No missing work. No finding a sitter. No sitting in a waiting room. No wasting your precious time that you don't have. Many of our customers tell us, you're saving me money. Pickup and delivery, it's free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. With our 3 oil change specials, you're going to find adding $10 will mean nothing. And we always have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our #1 goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out at the web at artriallawyers.com.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time, every time.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is the #1 place to watch every Arkansas basketball game this season. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is only $16.99. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is made with pulled pork from Neumeyer's Rib Room, sausage, Canadian bacon, pepperoni, crispy bacon, and cheese. Dusted with Neumeyer's Rib Rub. Hop on the Must Bus for every Arkansas basketball game at Papa's. 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
So the AP poll came out for basketball again. Arkansas's not on it. They got 7 receiving votes, and something Tommy and I were discussing, Clay, earlier this morning is even if you beat Georgia tomorrow night and you beat Mississippi State on Saturday, you're probably still not going to wind up ranked if we had to guess. I guess they need some help and from some
Teams
other
to lose.
top 25 teams for them to get up. And even then,
Maybe
there's
LSU to
1,
lose.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams ahead of them in the receiving votes category. So I can't see them making it a top 25 matchup if they win these 2 this week against Auburn, Clay.
Yeah, I mean it's all you got to do is win 3 or 4 games in a row and you'll be there. I promise. But but it's it'll be tough to do. It's I don't expect them to sail through that stretch. And you think, well, you killed Missouri. That will be a tough game. And every road game in the SEC, and I do not expect Auburn to win out. I think that they will stumble, and they should have lost at Missouri. And it's and you think, well, how did Alabama lose at Georgia? So that won't be an easy game for the Razorbacks either.
Yeah, you're paying the penalty or the price you're paying for losing to Hofstra and Vanderbilt is not being in the poll right now. Yeah. That's still on your resume, and pollsters know that.
It's a good way to look at it. I had a couple All-American lists come out for baseball yesterday. Robert Moore's second-team All-American for D1 baseball. Moore's also, and Peyton Stovall and Jackson Wiggins are a part of some All-American lists for Baseball America. Now, Clay, one of the things you were texting last night, you were surprised that Caden Wallace didn't make any of these lists.
I think he's the best player on the team, but and I think he was the best in the fall. And if any of these guys did any research, he'd be on these teams. And I think he is the stud of the studs on this team. Robert Moore, you could argue that he deserves that. Peyton Stovall, a little surprised. He hadn't played any games, and he was injured in the fall. So it's like you're basing that over high school stuff or summer ball stuff, because he didn't have anything in the college as far as he was not out there in the fall. So, but yeah, he's a known quantity through the scouts. A can't miss guy that was expected to go in the first round and put too high of a number, so he was not drafted. The depth of this team is really good throughout. You got guys like Brady Slavens who pretty much led the SEC in RBI until the very end when he was hurt last year, and I think he's he had the kind of fall that turned the heads of the scouts. Very, very disciplined at the plate, which he was not last year. And that's the word out of camp right now, is that these guys, the big boppers, Robert Moore, Brady Slavens, and Caden Wallace, are more selective at the plate. And if that's the case, this will be a tough lineup to work through.
2 more things here on your Hog Update. Arkansas softball picked to finish 3rd in the SEC behind Alabama and Florida, 2 top 5 or 6 teams. And also Arkansas women, they went to Knoxville, almost came away with the victory last night. 86-83 was the final, as this team narrowly fell
overtime.
In overtime to the Volunteers. That's going to do it for your Hog Update. It is brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
When you hear the phrase G.I. Joe, Clay and Tommy, what initially comes to mind? Because that was a popular toy even in y'all's day, right?
Well, it was the toy in my day. I mean, that I guess came out of what I've seen a documentary on that. I think it came out of World War II and was kind of really a toy when in the 50s was when plastic started becoming more of a thing where they could create toys out of it. So that's what I think about, is all the things I asked Mom and Dad for that were G.I. Joe when I was a kid.
Yo, Joe!
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is there.
So it's G.I. Joe Day.
Okay.
And that was popular even when I was a kid as well. Like all the guys had it when they were a kid. Clay, was that something that you remember? Or is that something that you maybe received from your late dad, Orville, for a Christmas present or a birthday present back in the day?
You didn't play with dolls.
He's just out on that.
Yeah.
Are you?
This was the counter. I mean, this is where talk about dolls. The
Barbie
Barbie doll.
and
This
this.
was the Barbie doll was the counter to this. I mean, and there's some stuff on Netflix, and I've watched it for whatever reason that it kind of goes through the history of this and post World War II and Korea War and all. I mean, this is where this stuff came about.
It was G.I. Joe versus Cobra. Now,
we didn't have any of that stuff, and I mean, we had baseballs, bats, basketballs, footballs. I mean, you name it, any kind of sports stuff we had. I don't remember any of my friends having G.I. Joes, and I mean, maybe it was just my neighborhood. I don't know, but that. It was until you said something about G.I. Joes on the deal, I would, it was like, what is that? And so, we didn't have any dolls because we didn't have, I have 3 brothers. So there weren't that kind of stuff around our house.
I think Clay's kind of pinched a nerve this morning. Do you consider those dolls, Tommy? I feel like that was
I never thought they were dolls when I was a kid
either.
because you had the tanks and you had the gun, you had all the other stuff. And now G.I. Joes, at least in our neighborhood, Clay, and they've been replaced by these Nerf gun deals where you get these little Nerf bullets, and I mean there is hundreds of different ones.
Yeah, probably so.
Oh, and I can tell you they'll burn in the fireplace pretty good. Those Nerf bullets. So how you get rid of them?
Had to get them out. Yeah,
where'd all them Nerf bullets go? I don't know what happened to them all.
I think about when I was a young kid, it was Thomas the Tank Engine, building trains. That was something my brother and I loved to do. We also loved Legos. Then we get older, the sports that you mentioned, Clay, baseball, basketball, whatever it was. We had a basketball in our garage, a little goal, like those little tight goals. And we also had the Nerf. We used to play basketball upstairs, drove my parents nuts on the little Nerf. You mentioned Nerf, the little Nerf basketball goal.
A million of those as
with
a kid.
With the duct tape ball. But that was just
hang it over the closet door and you just dunk,
And be pitter and pattering and ticking our parents off because you just hear banging upstairs. Think of 11 and a 12-year-old boy just trying to play basketball in their room. Surprised we didn't go through the floor at times.
Joseph in Cope says Buzz Lightyear was his G.I. Joe. When my daughter, who's now 25, was growing up, Buzz Lightyear was a huge thing.
My daughters had Cabbage Patch.
Yep, that was
a
big deal.
Does that ring a bell?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Cabbage Patch dolls. Yeah.
Emmett from Springdale, Clay, is very adamantly wants to tell you that they're not dolls. They're action figures.
Okay, whatever.
That was
that's fine. We just didn't have them, and I don't remember them that well. So, hey, what we did, do you remember the old championship wrestling tag team? We would put 2 couches opposite each other, and it'd be there's 4 boys, and it'd be the oldest and the youngest against the 2 middle ones until somebody got hurt.
Until someone got hurt.
We did that on trampolines.
What was the
kid?
Is it Rock'em Sock'em? Is that the boxing game that you play back and forth? That was a game that I really appreciated. But
then Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Everybody got that as a kid with Nintendo. Yeah. That was the big deal.
Oh, I just thought I saw that was that today. I thought I'd bring up some good memories for a lot of people that used to play or watch G.I. Joe back in the day. All right, hour 3 headed
Huge
your way.
brand.
14 straight years the Razorback has been represented in the Super Bowl.
What's better than getting something for free? Winning. And with the $5 bundle from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, you get the chance to do both. For $5, you get 3 tickets, a Powerball ticket with Power Play, a Mega Millions ticket, and a free Natural State Jackpot ticket. That's 3 ways to win. So ask for the $5 bundle today. Bundle is eligible with Quick Picks only. Offer ends February 28th. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Takes great work ethic to make any job last 10 years, especially one in the NFL. Hi, this is Brett Good with Henderson Phillips. I spent 10 years playing in the NFL. Now I bring that same work ethic to Henderson Phillips to provide you and your business with the best employee benefit plans for the best prices. Call or text me at 479-651-2292 and let's talk about getting the most value for your employee benefits. I am Brett Good with Henderson Phillips. Call me today at 479-651-2292.
Hello, welcome to Virtual Reality, where absolutely anything is possible. What would you like to do today?
Anything, huh? I think I want to drive the 2022 Toyota Camry. I saw it the other day and it looks super sporty for a sedan.
Sure, here you go.
Wow, V6, 301 horsepower, but it's still such a smooth ride.
Would you like to drive it in the clouds? Again, here, anything is possible.
No, roads are great, thanks. Wow, look at this panoramic moonroof.
I feel like you are not understanding virtual reality. Maybe you would like to ride a dinosaur now, or a unicorn, or a dino unicorn that talks.
Hello, I'm Daryl, the virtual reality dino corn. Take a ride on me.
No thanks, Daryl. I'm good with the Camry.
Oh, okay.
Make the 2022 Toyota Camry an actual reality by visiting your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. See packages and options at toyota.com for feature availability.
Winter is actually a good time to paint. The paint store over here in Van Buren has the most popular colors on large sample boards so you can see the color in your home. Rather do some outside painting? Our low temperature application product allows you to paint down to 35 degrees. It's okay. Experience hometown customer service you won't get at a national brand and get free professional advice from our 34 years of experience. Come see Sue and her team at the paint store in Van Buren. Find us on the internet.
In stock now and available for sales on these dates at the Golf Nut. Tailor-made Stealth Carbon Face Driver February 4th. Cobra LTD X Woods Hybrids and Irons February 11th. And Callaway Rogue ST February the 18th. They have a great selection of new shoes from FootJoy, Nike, Adidas, New Balance, Echo, and Puma. And don't forget about the golf balls from brands like Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Srixon, Bridgestone, and Vice. Check Facebook for daily specials. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Did you know that sometimes roof damage goes unnoticed? Have you seen a few houses in your neighborhood get new roofs in the past couple of years? It could be that your roof has damage. Brothers Roofing and Restoration is a properly licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Brother Alexander has over 25 years of experience in home insurance adjusting and residential roofing. Let Brother come do a free inspection of your roof. He'll give you a complete analysis of your roof and work with your insurance company if it needs to be replaced. So call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother to inspect your roof.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Are you looking for a new place to call home? Whether you're looking for an apartment, duplex, townhome, or a house, Trinity Multifamily has you covered. They even have options in surrounding states, from Texas to Michigan and Kansas to Tennessee. If you're looking for a new place to call home, make Trinity Multifamily your first call at 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
Locally owned
and Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Big winter storm moving into northern Arkansas on Wednesday will increase the chance of 4 to 6 inches of snow. We're looking at a chance of some showers today. Our highs in the upper 50s to low 60s. Wet weather continues tonight. The overnight low will drop down into the mid-30s north and mid-50s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Check out the Fish City Grill Ruskin and Zach podcast on hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. You're listening to The Morning Rush live from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Sportsman. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light Next with 0 carbs and only 80 calories. It's brewed for what's next.
This logo, we have to play for 40 minutes tonight to represent this.
Tony with the offensive rebound and a two-hand flush.
You cannot take anything for granted, guys.
Trapp handles it out front against Note. Jalen Williams flashes for the steal and throws it down with 2 hands.
This game is going to take 40 minutes of as hard as you've ever played all year long.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
I
hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just got to keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
It's hour number 3 of the Morning Rush on a Toyota Tuesday. Brandon Allen is the representative for this Arkansas football team coming up this next Sunday. And I know that a lot of people are kind of excited to see for the 14th straight year an Arkansas Razorback is represented. I think that's pretty cool. Andrew Hutchinson, Hogbeat, had this cataloged out, which I thought was pretty cool. And we'll go look back. Clay, you can talk about some of the guys that I can't necessarily and speak in great detail to their impact in the Super Bowls and whatnot. So kind of wanted to open it up this hour and talk about how cool it is to see a Razorback being there once again and just kind of see what kind of impact these guys have had over the years.
All right, before we dive into this conversation, I want to invite you to get to the hitthatline.com podcast network. Check out one of our featured podcasts. It's Coffee with Counsel, featuring Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull. They go through a lot of varieties of different legal issues, and a lot of them focusing on family law. The latest episode 11 is on custody battles and issues. Also has some great conversation about John Madden and sports and a lot of things you'll enjoy. After you've listened and got some free legal advice, you can call Kevin or Brad for a consultation in their office, 479-434-2414 in the River Valley, 802-6560 in their Northwest Arkansas office. Or find out more about Brad and Kevin, get those phone numbers, and find out more information on the area that you need some help with at artriallawyers.com. That's artriallawyers.com.
Clay, I remember when we had Steve Atwater on, the Smiling Assassin. I asked him what it was like to be a part of a Super Bowl team that got waxed by Joe Montana, and then to come back down the stretch and towards the latter part of his career and be a part of the teams that won 2. What do you remember about Steve Atwater's impact in those Super Bowls?
Well, it was something to be proud of, as far as, Razorback fans. And, he would be in on the key plays, both in the run stops and the hits over the middle and, the long passes. And, you pulled for the Broncos. And that's the same way it is for, whenever there's a Razorback in there. Just like my personal rooting stance, I kind of like the Matthew Stafford story. But if Brandon Allen gets in the game, well, then I'm switching to the Bengals immediately. But Brandon's not going to be a factor in the game unless they have a coin toss. They may not send him out, after he lost the one last week.
We were joking about that yesterday too. We're like, come on, BA, got to pick it right.
Well, I mean, he's had a 50-50 chance, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to watch Trey Flowers for and Dan Hampton and, Lance Allworth, had his little fling with the Cowboys. And, I think that's, Eddie Jackson played in the Super Bowl. I don't know if people remember that. Ryan Hale played in the Super Bowl. I think I'm getting that right. But, there's every once in a while there's a guy in there. Yeah. And, when there is, well, that's the team I'm pulling for.
Brett Good's another one that, guy we talked to a lot was played in as a long snapper. And
always just like don't want to have his name called.
Yeah. You want to go under the radar when you're in that spot.
You do not want to hear your name called when you're the snapper. Yeah.
One of the ones in more recent memory, Clay, is a guy you just brought up in Trey Flowers, and watching the defensive line for the New England Patriots in the second half of that ball game against Matt Ryan, and I know Kyle Shanahan would love to have the second half of that game back, but he had 2.5 sacks in that game, and I think it was 5th most in Super Bowl history, which is pretty cool. And I know Tom Murphy doesn't like to relive that day or that night very much, but for Trey Flowers to have that big of an impact on the grandest of all stages in football history, it's pretty cool to see how much he changed the course of that game.
Well, it's way cool when you consider that he was unrecruited pretty much as an SEC player when he came out of Huntsville. He was the last scholarship given by Arkansas. He was headed to Georgia Tech, did not have an SEC offer until the last weekend when Arkansas came up empty on some other players. And Steve Caldwell called him and said, hey, how about us? And he's like, anywhere in the SEC is fine. And, one of my contacts through the years has been Robert Flowers, his dad, who has a big construction company in Huntsville. And, until that point, Robert told me for sure he was going to Georgia Tech because that was the only really legitimate Division I offer when you think about how he developed and what he became. And he played as a true freshman. He was a 4-year guy, did not redshirt. So when you talk about under the radar, a 3-star that is starring in the Super Bowl, it happens all the time.
You've mentioned Dennis Dirk-Whitson on this program before, Clay, and I know he was a part of, I think, 2 Super Bowls, won one, lost the other. Do you remember, and again, this is dating us back a little bit, but do you remember those games at all and kind of his impact?
I mean, it's no question. And, he was a guy that started Arkansas. I mean, he was not an under-the-radar guy. Even though he didn't play his senior year of high school football, he was at Mariana, and they did not have – because of race problems, they did not have football his senior year. Arkansas signed him off the basketball floor to play football. But he was a guy that as soon as he was on campus, you knew he was a great player. You knew he was going to play in the NFL and that he would be a factor there. And he was just, a great player, a physical specimen that played so hard. And you got a name like Dirt, you know what kind of player you are, right?
Well, probably nasty, probably tough. When we know what kind of player he was, but he was going to put his hand in the dirt and then come after you pretty hard. So that's the kind of player he was. But yeah, I mean, you need guys that that represent. I mean, I can't help but think also when you think about Super Bowls, and these weren't players, but Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson, and you think about the Cowboy angle there too, Clay. That. As an owner, as a head coach, and Arkansas's got a great coaching tree that's also been well represented in Super Bowls.
That's right, and you go back to Joe Gibbs, who was on Coach Burrell's staff. Coached offensive line at Arkansas, and then had that great run at Washington. It's like, that there was always a Razorback here or there to watch, and it was there's. And there'll be more in the future, and that's why I say, if Brandon Allen's in the game, I'm a Bengals guy, I don't care anything about really either one of these teams. 27 SEC players in the game, so you go across the SEC, everybody's got a rooting interest because just about everybody's got a player.
I know that Ed Ogeron is excited to see both Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and you had them matching up against Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 3 LSU guys, and like you said, Clay, 27 total players in the SEC. So let me ask you all this. We've got the Super Bowl coming up next Sunday. We had the College Football National Championship, Final Four on its way in April. You've got the College World Series, which we've all been to Omaha and stuff. If you had your opportunity of any professional or collegiate sport to hold up the championship trophy, which would it be? What do you want your legacy to be?
Masters champion. Are you talking about just team trophies?
I would say team trophies.
Okay, but if you could do anything, I think
Masters.
That green jacket and that beautiful silver or platinum or whatever it is, just because of the individual accomplishment and what it means the rest of your life when you win one of those. But the Stanley Cup, even though I'm not a hockey guy, all the fun you get to have with the Stanley Cup, Clay, that would be hard to turn down.
Yeah, I've never really gotten into hockey, so that when you say that, that wasn't even on my radar. But I get I get it.
There's a lot of things that can be spoken of, and a lot of unspoken things that have happened with the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And I know there's a lot of people that like NASCAR, and that to me is a team event. That with the the entire crew and see those guys celebrate. You know what. To win the championship in that sport is pretty special. I guess probably the Super Bowl if I had my druthers. I'm kind of a football guy. The net cutting, at the Final Four. That I saw that firsthand was right underneath the nets as Arkansas is. Corey Beck and Corliss and Clint, all those guys that went up to cut the nets and. You kind of get chills watching that. I wasn't part of it, but that is to see, the total team come together and the hugs, all that. You kind of get that feeling, and talking to those guys, that's what they remember the most.
Sure.
I just think that the net cutting is such an iconic scene in any sport, and the checker flag's a great one.
And you don't cut the goalpost down. You don't. I mean, it's unique to basketball, and it's only done when – I think it's done too much, honestly, because you cut nets down for conference titles sometimes, and you cut nets down at there should only be one net cutting a year in any sport, and that's when you're the last man standing.
Yeah, the Super Bowl, they always say we're going to Disneyland. I think about, is it the Indy 500? They do the milk. Okay.
Yeah.
Then the checker flag, the green jacket for Masters, that's, again, more of an individual sport than anything. I know you have your caddy and your trainer and stuff, but I just think the net cutting is someone that grew up and places basketball above any other sport. That, to me, is so significant. And Clay, you luckily enough got to experience it firsthand. I know you weren't on the team, but just kind of going over your description, I just think that's awesome. And not to make light of winning a Super Bowl, because I think a lot of people would put that on the highest priority, and just the Lombardi Trophy, the significance behind that with Vince Lombardi being one of the greatest coaches in NFL history, I think is pretty cool. There's just a lot of different sporting.
Yeah, the one golf team championship is the Ryder Cup, and that's probably why you hear the players talk about it the most, is that it is a team deal, and that's and it and it doesn't happen all the time. I mean, it's not every year, so I think that. When you hear guys like Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, who doesn't get emotional for hardly anything but just goes crazy for Ryder Cup, it's because it's team.
And it's on a soccer level in Europe. We don't even realize how big it is. I mean, it's not as big a deal here in Europe. If you're on the winning Ryder Cup team, you're like one of the soccer stars. If you lose, man, it's death threats and they're after you. So I mean, it's a much bigger deal in Europe on that particular event. And then you think about the soccer stars and the World Cup and things like that. I mean, we kind of get in our American bubble here on that stuff, and soccer is growing. But is there a bigger deal internationally than the World Cup and hoisting that every 4 years?
Yeah, that's pretty good. So I was on 1970 as a 10th grader on a state championship basketball team. We had the 50-year reunion, and sitting around the room with those guys and going back and reliving practices and some of the hell we were put through by our coach. Of course he's gone, he's dead, so we can talk about him nicely and roast him. But it was that is one thing I did get to experience, and so that team championship and a trophy, that's pretty cool. I don't remember the net cutting, but I'm sure we did it.
I bet you could find that somewhere, or maybe your coach took it all. But I mean, once you
normally everybody gets their own little
I don't
piece of the
remember
cord.
that. Yeah. So I was a 10th grader. Maybe I didn't get part of the net.
It was a long time ago, too. So, hey, this morning we are brought to you by CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. They're hiring in Fayetteville and the Russellville locations. Now, CJ's is a great place, burgers, fries, shakes, but it's also a great place to work, and Keith and his team are looking for team players, hard workers, and great attitudes. You can apply online at butcherboyburger.com. Click on the careers link, and it's right there. Make sure you're following Keith and his team on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And don't forget about CJ's Butcher Boy seasoned patties being sold at Harps along with the seasoning too. The seasoning is not just great on burgers, chips, meat, other meat, and more. It's great on everything. CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. When all you do are burgers, they have to be the best.
I was just in Harps this weekend and saw it wasn't really an end cap, but it's hanging near the end of an aisle, and it was CJ's Butcher Boy Burger seasoning in the cans. So, got to get some of that. I've got some in my pantry. It's good stuff.
I used it this week on my chicken, man. It's good on everything. I saw this story, and for the longest time, because I didn't grow up a baseball guy, when I heard the term Wally pipped, I had no idea what that meant for the longest time. Back on this day in 1926, the Yankees sold Wally Pipp to the Cincinnati Reds. And I think 90+% of you know exactly what that term Wally pipped means. But if you don't, back in 1925, he had an injury. Lou Gehrig, eventual Hall of Famer, ended up replacing him. And the rest is history.
Never look back.
Is that one of the more iconic phrases in all of sports? He got Wally pipped. I mean, I think about Drew Bledsoe with Tom Brady. That was a term
that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Is the modern day would be, I guess, Bledsoe'd.
Yeah, Bledsoe and Brady. I think I've heard the Patrick Ewing theory being tossed around, where he gets injured and they go all the way to the NBA Finals. Even though as great as a player he was, people were like, well, maybe they're better without Patrick Ewing.
But I think to work, it has to be the unknown player replacing the known player and then going on to be a legend. I mean, all of the two first examples we gave, Lou Gehrig, I mean, is an all-time iconic star, and then
what are some other
Tom Brady's
examples?
Tom Brady.
Well, it's interesting. When I was doing research on Drew Sanders at Alabama, transferring to Arkansas, he was starter at the first of the year. He got hurt, missed a game. And Turner, stepped in, the defensive end on the other side of Will Anderson, and never, Sanders never got back in the lineup. And I was talking to my brother, and he said, "Got Wally pipped."
Yeah,
and that's his story. Yeah,
you kind of think a little bit about J.T. Daniels and Stetson Bennett a little bit this year. That Stetson Bennett was playing so well, J.T. Daniels
you can't make the change.
You could make the change. I mean, that's not the extreme example of Wally Pipp and Lou Gehrig, but you just think about this past football season, and that's exactly what happened to Georgia.
Tony Romo and Dak Prescott, I think that'd be one. Here's another one. This is a great one from Joe, and with his movie, has this come out yet? Has Warner's movie come out yet, American Underdog?
I don't think it's out yet.
Okay. Joe brings up Trent Green and Kurt Warner. It was, the third preseason game where Trent Green got that season-ending injury, and
sounds right.
Warner comes in. Yeah, that's a great one to bring up, because there's more of them than you think. You got to think and you got to dive into it a little bit, but you think about how certain careers have been impacted by an injury, and you're just never able to get back to that same level that you specifically thought that certain player was going to be.
To me, it's more about you open the door for someone else that was
for a great player
unknown, and they turned out to be just an all-time great, an icon to the game type of player. That to me is the standard, because we know what kind of player Lou Gehrig turned out to be.
Is there an Arkansas example, Clay, that you're an encyclopedia when it comes to Razorback sports. Is there one that Arkansas, in the course of their athletics history, stands out?
Oh, I'm sure there is. I don't have one. I remember James McCann was playing behind a senior catcher, and at some point that year they put him in, and you never heard about the senior catcher, again. And he, started all the way through the College World Series, but James McCann was going to take over at some point that year, I think.
Here's the best I can come up with just off the cuff is, McFadden wasn't starting until it was
like fourth or fifth string.
That's the best I can come up with that thinking of it. And then finally he gets in, shows what he can do. Came in at the end of the Vanderbilt game, and if I remember right, when Jay Cutler was the quarterback, Arkansas lost the game. And then
you can kind of go back to that's a good one.
That's
Tommy.
kind of as close. I mean, you can think about Mitch Mustain.
The one I kind of remember, Jason Allen started the year as the quarterback in '92, and somewhere during the year, it was obvious that his knee injury wasn't going to allow him to perform on the level that he'd done before, and they put in Barry Lunny, and Barry
against Tennessee. First game was at Tennessee, right?
Correct. And they upset Tennessee.
I mean, when Neyland was Neyland, then
that place was rocking. Yeah. Until Orlando Waters returned the punt. But I mean, that's one example. I guess Barry started every game except the opener. Maybe as a senior, he didn't start the opener, and Danny Ford now says he regrets doing that. Mike Cherry started
SMU.
Yeah, and from then on, he was that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And I think everybody knew it too. And I think that was his penalty for playing baseball the previous spring.
Mm-hmm.
Cherry had taken all the beating running the option in the spring. But that was. But he had not started until that game, and then was the starter the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And Pip was due more to injury, but some of these have just hey, this is a guy that's taking over.
But Jason was because of injury that he couldn't perform. He was not hurt that year, but his knee just never snapped back.
Yeah.
Zach and Harrison says Jalen Williams last year. I guess him coming in, maybe, kind of, sort of, no.
I don't think that falls into that category. But I think we already knew what kind of player Jalen Williams had potential to be. Hey, I know the weather's going to be off a little bit, but maybe not the Majestic this week. Let's think about the Peacemaker and getting your tickets now to get ready for the Peacemaker Festival coming up.
Yep, peacemakerfest.com is where you can find those tickets and that information at. Tickets starting at just $59. It's a 2-day concert festival, July 29th and 30th, 121 Riverfront Drive down by the river here in Fort Smith. The parks are going to open the gates at 5 p.m. on Friday and 4 p.m. on Saturday. You can bring in your lawn chairs for this event. If you want to check out some videos and pictures, you can do that on Facebook and Instagram. Again, peacemakerfest.com. Let's talk more about this basketball team coming up and what you think about them this 6-game winning streak.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels. Here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
BetOnline has you covered for all the holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all sports action. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with the promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV to receive your bonus. And it's not just football. BetOnline has pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports.
Retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. Wow World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Shelter Insurance agents Ted McAvoy in Greenwood or Jeff Clark in Fort Smith about a free insurance review. Inventory shortage? Not here. Wheeler Power Sports has its own showroom packed with brand new units. They have a great selection of Kawasaki bikes featuring the Ninja Z900, the KLR 650, and the Ninja 400. Wheeler Power Sports has everyone covered for all ages and all the gear and protection to keep them safe. Looking for that side-by-side or ATV for this spring? Wheeler Power Sports has the best in-stock selection in the area, and they can special order to fulfill your need. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week, both on the patio and cozy dining room. River City Bistro, locally owned and open weekdays 11 till 8, Saturdays 10 till 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Crabb.
Note in the lane, tried to feed Williams. Jalen underneath, gets it to go and one.
Did you miss a segment or interview during the show? Find it in the Bud Light Next Morning Rush podcast. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
So what we've seen in these last 6 wins, do you think that's an indication of what this team is going to be heading into the NCAA tournament, and if they make it to that point? Or you feel more it's in the middle of what you saw in the streak before, which was losing 5 of the last 6? Talk about that with his Arkansas basketball team in just a sec.
Hey, we're brought to you by Arts Barbecue and Burgers. Want to remind you to get by and try the new combo platters. They've got so many favorites over there, from the baby back ribs to the tender brisket to their great pulled pork and all the sides. You can get a combo platter. So if you love their catfish, you can pair that up with some of their brisket or pulled pork or ribs with catfish. They've got a variety of combo platters that will work for you. Ty and I also love the fried chicken sandwich that's there because it's unique and different. Everybody's got a fried chicken sandwich, but here's what makes Arts different and better. They use the kickin' chicken sauce on it. So everybody's got their own deal. Arts does as well. It's a honking piece of fried chicken breast, and then they put that kickin' chicken sauce, and it just goes to another level. Pair it up with one of their great sides, and you will love it for lunch or dinner. Arts Barbecue and Burgers, Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's. Call 452-2550, and they can have your order ready for their convenient, easy-to-use pickup window. And stop in and see them any day for lunch or dinner, Tuesday through Saturday at Arts Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith.
Clay, we looked this up yesterday. I want to say that Georgia's in outside the top 250. So this game you're playing in Athens tomorrow night is a quad 3 or quad 4.
Quad 9.
Yeah, whatever it is. It's high. But what's crazy about this remaining schedule, Auburn is going to be a quad 1 opportunity. Alabama is going to be a quad 1 opportunity. Tennessee is going to be a quad 1 opportunity. Kentucky, LSU. I think 7 of the remaining 10 games are all quad 1 opportunities, which, again, that's why we kept saying don't completely jump off the ledge just yet, because Arkansas has a lot of talented team left to play. When you look at this basketball team, Clay, I asked Tommy this earlier, and I'll direct the same question to you. When can you feel confident enough that this team is going to make the NCAA tournament if there is that circumstance moving forward?
I think when you get done with the regular season, you'll have a great feel. Not until then. And they're just, here's what happens this time of year. You gain momentum. I'm talking about a particular team. And other teams lose momentum as they lose sight of the NCAA tournament. There's teams now that are in the bottom of the SEC, and they have no hope. And when you lose hope, you start to give up the rope. I know that's poetry. It's pure prose. You lose hope, you give up the rope, but it's true. And as the momentum builds after every win, it's easier. And you find teams that you think early in the year you struggle against, and then you roll over them. You've seen that with this Arkansas team under good coaches, and as they figure it out and they build the cohesive unit, and that's what Eric Musselman has done with this team, is that he's locked in. And now you see the communication and the defensive switches and the understanding. You see them play better and better and better. And with consistency.
Mm-hmm. So what will next Tuesday against Auburn tell you? What will you be able to read about maybe the ceiling of this team coming off of next week's game against the presumed number 1 team in Auburn?
Well, first of all, a loss can't hurt you. And that game, losing to the number 1, is not going to be viewed as a bad loss, no matter how it turns out. So in that respect, you're playing with house money, and I don't think it matters if you play them close. I think it only matters if you win. If you win that game, then you have done something to redirect attention nationally to your team. And especially if that is Auburn's only loss, and it could be. So, but that is an important game for Arkansas. It's not an important game for Auburn. So you're going to be a big underdog. I would say Auburn will be favored by 6, 7, 8 points. So you're not supposed to win, but you got a chance with the way this team is playing and the way they're playing at home. I think it'll be a low-scoring dogfight.
And 8 points at Bud Walton is probably 15-17 on a neutral site or at Auburn, maybe, because Bud Walton is worth 7 or 8 points, probably.
Auburn's best team in the league. We figured that out just about the time, that they started, conference play. We'd seen what they did, in the non-conference. Thought Alabama, with some of their some of their wins, but Alabama is kind of a team with some missing ingredients. They do not have a post game. Last year you could not slough off their post player because he could shoot threes, and now you can. So their offensive attack is take a three or drive to the rim. Well, you cover their shooters and you slough off with your post player to cover the rim. Well, that changes it for them, and that's why they've lost some games that are almost hard to fathom that they would lose at home to Gardner-Webb or they'd lose at Georgia. But they are not a team that has all the ingredients. They got great guards, but great guards that rely on three-point shooting, and they're off. They got no post game.
Tommy, I'll ask you this before we go to break. Arkansas currently it's tied at third in this league. 10 games remaining. Do they get a top 4 seed, which guarantees 2 days of bye at the SEC tournament in Tampa, Florida?
I think they do. I think they are one of the 4 best teams in this league right now. They do have some tough games coming up. Obviously, their schedule doesn't favor them towards that, but I think they are better than the other teams in the middle of the pack. That's why games like this Saturday against Mississippi State and having that edge in a tiebreaker is so important. You just got to win the games you're supposed to win. And I think Arkansas will be right there. Maybe might be the number 4 team, but I think they will get one of those top 4 seeds.
Yeah, that'd be good for their SEC tournament chances. All right, SEC update is coming up next on the Morning Rush.
This is Toyota Tuesday on the Morning Rush. Get by your local Toyota dealer for a test drive today. Toyota, let's go places.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
What's better than getting something for free? Winning. Woohoo! And with the $5 bundle from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery, you get the chance to do both. For $5, you get 3 tickets, a Powerball ticket with Power Play, a Mega Millions ticket, and a free Natural State Jackpot ticket. That's 3 ways to win. So ask for the $5 bundle today. Bundle is eligible with Quick Picks only. Offer ends February 28th. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Hardworking simplicity and serious durability. That's the winning combination you get when you pair a rugged Workmaster utility tractor with a Dura-Disc heavy-duty disc mower, both from New Holland and Williams Tractor in Fayetteville, Berryville, and Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas. You'll maximize the tonnage of your hayfields by slicing a clean, close swath up to 10 foot 4 inches wide, all while operating in confidence and comfort with a Workmaster tractor with high visibility all-weather cab. Stop by Williams Tractor in Fayetteville, Berryville, and Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas today to learn about this unstoppable New Holland team.
Winter is here, and there's no better time to make sure your tires are road ready. Southern Tire Mart proudly offers America's most trusted brands such as Toyo. Trust us for your last-minute getaways, open road adventures, and memories that outlast the drive. When you can rely on your tires, you are free to enjoy the ride. Come visit us at 9700 Highway 271 South at I-540 in Fort Smith. Southern Tire Mart and Toyo, we keep you rolling.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
We're remixed and remastered at TGI Fridays in Fort Smith. Some of your favorite apps, drinks, and desserts are now even better the second time around. Check out the sizzling cheesy bacon mac and cheese bites, a blast from the past with a whole new vibe. Also back are the famous Fridays fried mushrooms and the ultimate cheesy bacon cheeseburger. And all new at Fridays is the Oreo Madness, house-made giant Oreo cookies with cookies and cream ice cream coated in red and white sprinkles, served with chocolate sauce and a fresh strawberry. Come by or order online. It's your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 in Rogers managers in Fort Smith.
Are your real estate investments being properly managed? Are you sending a check or cashing a check each month? If you're tired of your current property managers, then call Trinity Multifamily. Trinity will qualify your tenants and leases, inspect your properties, and take care of maintenance and provide you with web-based access to current financial reports, leases, and pictures of your property. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Farm Credit has been a trusted friend for over 100 years. They are ag financing experts. So whether you're a longtime farmer, new to farming, or buying your dream home or land in the country, their experienced staff has a plan to fit your goals, needs, and your bottom line. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal opportunity lender.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is stepping up its bourbon selection. They now have E.H. Taylor, Angel Envy, Buffalo Trace, Bullet Rye, and Breckenridge, plus the same great pizza that you've come to know over the years. Give them a call at 479-783-9941 or check them out at papaspub.com. Stop in tonight for one of their new bourbons at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to ashley.air.com to request service today.
All right, basketball games tonight. Texas A&M is traveling to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers. South Carolina is taking on Mississippi State in Starkville. Ole Miss traveling to LSU to take on the Tigers. And then the game that I'll be watching, Alabama going to Auburn to take on Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers. Any chance that
you want Auburn to win, right?
Oh yeah, you want to be
You don't want
number
Auburn
one.
coming in here with any. Who do they play Saturday, by the way? But you don't want any chance they're having a case of the Reds before they get here, do you, Clay?
No, I think that's you want them feeling pretty good and having that 0 on their conference into their conference.
And I still don't.
I don't think you're going to catch them.
Yeah, they're not going to overlook Arkansas. So, but you don't want them to lose at Alabama. You want to have the first chance to take that O down. Somebody's O has got to go, as Michael Buffer would say. You want that. You want to be the team to do it.
Does Arkansas have a better chance in this game if they win both of these this week just to keep the streak alive, or does it really matter what they do against Georgia and Mississippi State?
I think you want to build momentum. Yeah. I think winning breeds winning.
Can't afford to lose to Georgia, and we talked about the tiebreaker scenario with State, who's right there in that wad of teams. Whether you're ahead of them now, you want to stay ahead of them. So yeah, these are important games this week. So
talking about Auburn, let's switch over to their football program that just lost their offensive coordinator, Austin Davis. He comes over from the Seattle Seahawks when he got hired in December. Now he's stepping down for personal reasons. Now, Clay, I was telling Tommy, Ole Miss lost their OC, their DC, and their special teams coordinator and their, I think, running backs coach. But now Auburn's lost their DC and offensive coordinator. I just got a feeling that Auburn's going to be similar to what they were this year. And hopefully they don't beat Arkansas in Jordan-Hare Stadium, but I just don't think Auburn's going to be that good this season, losing Bo Nix, losing TJ Finley. I guess they brought in Calzada, but I just don't have a lot of confidence in that football team in Auburn this year.
Don't see playmakers. They got Tank Bigsby back, and I think their other running back, I can't think of his name, but good players there, but they have lost a slew of defensive playmakers that have made their team solid the last 3 years. They've been wiped out on the defensive line. They lose Smoke Monday. I believe he goes to the NFL. That's the core of their team, and it's they are not recruiting well. I think there's 14 great players in the state of Alabama this year, and I don't think they're going to get hardly any of them. You can still go to Atlanta and get players, and that's what Auburn does. But they're not recruiting near the level that they did under Malzahn, and that's where it looks like Harsin has not grasped the pipeline, so to speak, and that's buying players. He may not understand that. Maybe he didn't have to do that at Boise State. But, that's what Auburn has done. And, I think that, the coordinator, the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach got there and looked around and was like, man, we don't have players. And you don't have players, it's going to be hard to win.
Clay, Auburn does not have a single, as you were saying, commit right now in the class of 2023 in Alabama. Their highest one is 18th. Like you're saying, they don't even have one in the top 17. Arkansas has Dallas Young in the top 16, and Auburn does not have a single commit right now, which is it's pretty crazy.
And their recruiting last year was off,
yeah.
So you can't do that. I mean, it catches up with you in the SEC. If you're at Arkansas, you know that. They're picked last. I've seen the early. I think it was Athlon had them 7th in the West. That hasn't happened in 20 years.
I would not mind seeing that this year. Last tidbit before we get into some breaking news: Florida and Florida State has been moved to Black Friday. I don't know what time. I assume they're going to put that in the prime time slot. Who else plays on Black Friday besides Arkansas and Missouri? That's a notable rivalry or team, because I know Auburn, Alabama Saturday, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Thursday night. Who else plays on that Black Friday that I'm not?
Well, first of all, Arkansas is scheduled to play Missouri on Saturday at this point. They haven't moved the game.
But don't they always move
happens,
it up?
That always happens in the spring.
Yeah.
So CBS has not made that decision yet. You assume they will. But, sometimes that doesn't happen.
But it's been rare. The only time that didn't happen is when the Iron Bowl moved.
Yeah.
Correct.
To that, and then Saban said, "I'm not playing on that Friday anymore," and then they promptly moved it back, and I think it's a 2-year deal, and then they put Arkansas, which was Arkansas LSU for years, but you suspect that will hold form, and Arkansas will go there. More and more games, because there was 4 or 5 games this last year on that Friday, a handful on Thursday. That's become, I think there were 12 games total between Thursday and Friday this past season, something in that neighborhood. So there'll be some other games that day as well, because they know there's an available audience at home to watch it on TV, and it spreads for a conference. It spreads out your games and gives your other games more available TV windows as well. So it improves the overall window where you're not, having a bigger game on an alternate channel or not on one of your main channels. All right, that's your SEC update. It's brought to you by Ashley Air, proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. Heat up your home with a free furnace when you purchase a qualifying new system from Ashley Air. And until the end of February, get no down payments, no interest for 72 months on qualifying systems, and the Ashley Air Quality Assurance Guarantee, their 12-year parts and labor warranty. Get a free furnace when you purchase a new system from Ashley Air. Just go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your service appointment. That's AshleyAir.com.
Drew just showed me this. Got a text in from Colton in Fayetteville. If you haven't been on social media in the last 2 or 3 minutes, then you would know that Tom Brady has officially retired from the National Football League. Now, this was originally reported from Jeff Darlington and Adam Schefter of ESPN that this was going to happen. And now, as of a little after 8 o'clock this morning, guys, it's official.
There was still an article up when I went to ESPN when we saw that text. ESPN.com just a moment ago did not have it. I just refreshed the page, and it is up there that his future was uncertain. Well, now it's not uncertain. He has officially announced his retirement from the NFL. Clay, this is without, at the least a changing of the guard. I don't think you can overstate the importance or the magnitude or the gravity of this decision as Tom Brady steps away from football.
Yeah, I'm pleased to hear this. I mean, I hate to see the guys that, like watching Roethlisberger the last couple of years, he couldn't throw it deep, did not have the arm strength. And you see these guys that don't have all their abilities. And he went out with really he could do whatever he wanted to. I mean, his knees are okay, his arm was still terrific. Had a good complement of players around him, so he looked successful in games. That's the way he ought to go out, and I think he understands that.
Yeah, he announced it on Instagram. So if you're looking for the story on Twitter, you might go to Insta to find it, according to the ESPN article. So that's how it's all done anymore, though. You put up a social media post, and we're definitely seeing, and it started with Mahomes a few years ago, but we're definitely seeing just in the playoffs this year with Burrow, with Mahomes, with Stafford to some degree. These younger quarterbacks, Josh Allen, starting to be the ones that are the new wave in the game. And what Tom Brady has been able to do well into his 40s, I don't think will ever be duplicated again.
It's hard to see someone winning 7 Super Bowls as a quarterback in the way that the NFL is. And he benefited from just a horrendous NFC East where they could just beat up on the Dolphins, on the Jets, on the Bills. This is not the Josh Allen Bills. This is not the Jim Kelly Bills. This was a terrible Bills team for a number of different years, and so he had that advantage.
You say the advantage though, but they still got to the playoffs and beat all the other teams. I mean,
well, then let me finish. So they're playing all these teams. Mm-hmm. They have such a good record that they get the home seed, they get the 1 seed, they get the 2 seed every year. And so you have that distinctive. And listen, I'm not taking away from what the Patriots are done, but that it helped him out so much that he had the benefit of the doubt most years of having the 1 or 2 seed or at least a first round bye. They're playing in Foxborough. They're playing in that terrain, the place that they've come to know and how difficult it is to play up in there in New England. And he was very difficult to beat.
He was
in
the
Gillette
best
Stadium.
He was the best quarterback with the best coach and the better game plan more often than not.
Yeah, and what you say is correct, Ty, but you're overlooking the great parity in the NFL that the draft has become in the salary cap, and there is no way to schedule easy opponents in the out of division, because the NFL assigns the Super Bowl champ and the runner-up the toughest schedule and the toughest road games, and the Patriots overcame that with he not only was the best player, but he had the best coach.
And they did it in 2 different stints. So you had the early 3 Super Bowls, and then they got close against the Giants twice, and I know he'd love to have both of those games back. And the only time that Tom Brady ever lost to a Super Bowl team was someone from the NFC East. Giants, Eli Manning twice, and I almost said Carson Wentz and the Eagles, and Nick Foles and the Eagles. It's the only teams he lost to in the Super Bowl. 7-3, 10 total Super Bowls, just performance after performance. When he got the ball with 2 minutes to go and he was down, you just knew he was going to stick that sucker in the end zone. And for all the Kansas City Chiefs fans that had their hearts ripped by Tom 2 years ago, for the team who the Bucs played last year, for the Kansas City Chiefs fans last year, and to see what he did and just rip them apart. And I say 2 years ago, it was 3 years ago in the AFC Championship game. It's Tom terrific for a reason.
This is the last paragraph of his pretty short and brief announcement. This is difficult for me to write. This is Tom Brady from his Instagram post, which is now everywhere on social media. This is difficult for me to write, but here it goes. I am not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I have loved my NFL career, and now it is time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention. His first paragraph focused on being all in and 100%. So clearly he's reached a point where, he knows the work, he knows the grind, and he knows that, hey, I can eat all the vegetable plant-based diets I want, but at some point 44 catches up to 45, and Father Time is undefeated. So I'm with you, Clay. It's great to see him get out while he's still at the peak of his game, and I don't think we'll see a comeback. I don't think we'll see a rebirth of his career, a reboot in 2 years.
He legged the league in passing yards and touchdowns this year.
I think he is going to be the one and only that goes out at the peak of his game 22 years in. It'll never be repeated 22 years in.
Because you think about Jordan, I think Jordan, if he had it over to do it again, he wouldn't have come back with the Wizards because you win in 98, you hit that shot over Byron Russell, and you win that sixth and final championship game. Tom did it in a similar fashion, leading the league in both passing yards and touchdowns.
You hate to see greatness go.
And that's what you have. For Tommy Kraft, Clay Henry, Drew Barrett, I'm Ty Richardson. Everyone have a great rest of your Toyota Tuesday.
Hello, welcome to Virtual Reality, where absolutely anything is possible. What would you like to do today?
Anything, huh? I think I want to drive the 2020